All right, and we are live. Welcome everyone to this live stream on this beautiful Saturday morning. Also, happy Easter to everyone who celebrates. I know it's not Easter yet, it's tomorrow, but I just wanted to say that right now, right off the bat. Let's make sure everyone is good to go and they can hear me. So, as usual, before we get started, sometimes a little bit, don't do well with tech. And so if you can let me know down in the chat if you can hear me well, it doesn't sound echoey, the mic sounds good, just drop that down and let me know. I see my boy John R here is first. By the way, everyone, John R will be having his live stream right after mine, so make sure to check his out when we're done here. I should go around 2 hours as usual on this one, and so I think that seeing what John R has to say is going to be very cool because he is up for his Iceland trip coming up. I believe it's in a week. Just remind me about that, John. All right, so Juan Garcia is here in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Juan. Also, both John and Juan are channel members, so thank you so much for being channel members. And of course, if you want to do that, you can always join down below. And I do release these weekly Walks with Stan episodes, which I'll kind of go over later in the episode for today. Mr. Sun Win is here in the house. Anyone planning an ANA round the world ticket? I am not. I heard that those are going away. Is that true? I just saw the title but didn't read into it. That would be unfortunate, but that's something to think about. John says sounds good. Juan says sounds good. Excellent. Mr. Rodrigo Mendez is here in the house. We're all jumping over from Duke. Yeah, I was waiting for him to finish before I started mine, and so it was very a good Dugras live stream. I was setting things up here while I was listening, and so it was pretty great to hear what he had to say about him and his, dark side of credit cards. So he says, RKO Masi, aloha, sir. Aloha to you. Are you in Hawaii? Are you based in Hawaii, or are you just traveling and hanging out over there, or are you Hawaiian yourself? John R with a super chat. Thank you so much, John. Let's go. Stan the Man is live. I appreciate that. We got a lot of great questions here on the community post, so I'm super excited to talk about them. There's a lot of good credit card setup questions as well as some other ones. We go into some Marriott questions, some Bank of America questions. So we got a lot of really good topics to cover on later on this episode as soon as we move into those questions. Tara Yates is here. Hey, happy Saturday. Good to see you, Tara. Thank you for stopping by. John R says, thank you for the shout out, Stan. Much appreciated, sir. Yes, Iceland is imminent. 7 days. That's super exciting, man. I'm really excited for you. And I don't know, hopefully you can, do some vlogging, or maybe not. I don't know, depending on how you feel. But it's really cool to see what your activities are and what's going on over there. So definitely looking forward to that. Robert J's in the house. I finally made it back, looking to restart my membership. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And the Walks with Stan episodes are in full swing. And I actually have been doing them every week, about 2 minutes long, just a very stream of consciousness thought on a credit card topic or adjacent topic. And so definitely check those out if you'd like to do that. Mr. Sunwin says, JW Marriott Crete Resort and Spa in Greece from 44K Marriott points, new property, June to October. 44K is really good. You can hit that with a 35K Marriott FNC. So getting a JW for 35K, it's pretty solid. So yeah, I definitely check it out. I always get concerned though with these new properties because you just don't know what it's going to be like. Sometimes it's beautiful because it's new, but sometimes things aren't really working yet. Like the water is not to half the property, or like the electricity isn't somewhere else. So we have to kind of figure out that stuff, and that's where the reviews come in. So, I mean, if you want to be a trendsetter and check it out, I think that'd be great. I know nothing about this property. Maybe they got it all together, but if not, those things can happen for sure. Rodrigo says, would you have applied for the new Smartly card in its new form? Absolutely not. That card is terrible in its current form, because why would I get a 2% cashback card with foreign transaction fees when the Fidelity Rewards Visa card exists? You just wouldn't do that. And so, no, I would definitely never get it, because no one's ever going to keep 10,000 plus in their checking account voluntarily. If you're doing a lot of business stuff and you need a pretty high amount in your checking account, that's fine. I have sometimes had that in the past too, but I don't routinely keep that much money in a checking account. And then they wanted you to go to 50 or 100K for a 4% back, unless there's almost no reason to ever do that. And so, no, I would definitely have never applied for that new Smartly card, which I think went live on the 14th, on Monday of this week. Luckily, I'm grandfathered in, so it's still the same way it is, but we'll see how long we'll see how long that lasts, that's for sure. John R says, plan on staying as much as I can while I'm there, or plan on sharing as much as I can while there. That's excellent. Great to hear. You should do one of those things that Luke does where he like is in his hotel room and he does a little live stream just off the cuff. I think those are pretty cool. So you should do one of those. Or you could go to like, if you want to be really, really cool, you can go to one of those, hot springs or something and just kind of do it there, just like a chill day or hot day, depending on how you describe it. D-Green says, what's up, Stan? Looking forward to live. Of course. We're all just getting started here. It's just about 10 o'clock. I just wanted to start right after Dugras so we can kind of just keep things going and just have one continuous long live stream on this Saturday. So all you guys can really just have a lot of fun with all the different live streams that are on today, which is great. D-Gas, my good friend. How you doing, man? Good. Got to see the live. How are you spending the points earned with your U.S. bar card? Just credit for expenses or using the portal for travel? So it's a good question. I did see that comment on Spencer's video this week when we did the creator conversations. Basically, the U.S. bar for me is exclusively redeemed for Uber or taxis. And so I actually did go to Chicago last week for a wedding and for a vacation. And so I was using Ubers a lot to travel around the city. I did use, obviously, the L too, but Ubers for some things like airports and like other places that are pretty far out. And so I really used about, I would say like $300 worth of US bar credits. So that's about 45,000 points or something. I use a lot of credits and they were all free rides. And so it was great. It's worked out pretty well for me. Some people like to save them up and do it for hotels. For me, I just find that doing the Uber thing is the way that it can really bring that total down. And I think I have like maybe 15,000 points now. So got to build that up again. And next domestic trip I go on, which is relatively soon, I will have enough points to do Ubers again. And that will be, quote, free, which was good. Vincent Pascal is here in the house. Happy Saturday, Stan. Happy Saturday to you, Vincent. Good to see you. Michael Yip is here. Morning, Stan. Nice haircut. Oh, thank you so much. I got this haircut actually about a week and a half ago, and so it was actually a lot shorter than this. Everyone's been saying nice haircut, so maybe I should just stick with this new barber. I guess that's the way that people like my hair, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I can't really do this, but maybe you can see that. Joe Mono here is in the house watching this live on my road trip. Woohoo! Good to see you, Joe Mono. Are you road tripping somewhere far, somewhere close? Sometimes it depends on the place you're going to, but sometimes the destination is not really the trip. It's really the journey that actually is more fun. So just curious about that. Chad Money Minutes is in the house. Yo, what's up, my boy, Chad? Everyone check out Chad's channel, by the way. He's got some really deep dive stuff. What I like about Chad is that he is like an experienced father of credit cards because he's done these things for so long. He's got so much experience, and I just love listening to his perspectives on that because we can all learn from our elders. I mean, that in a sign of respect, not a sign of like you're old. So just putting that out there. So Chad, you are definitely very knowledgeable. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. John says maybe he'll film outside the spa. Who knows? Vincent says Chicago's a cool city, especially if architecture interests you. Actually, it's a great city for that reason. I've been there many times, and my wife has never been there, and so I was excited to show her the area. Chicago has so many skyscrapers, and the architecture is really great because of that Chicago fire back in the 1920s. And so we did actually go on the architecture tour, which is a very common thing that you can do in Chicago. You go down the Chicago River, and they just explain to you what each style is, like what each building looks like, and like how they were built, and like what are the little details about them. So it's a really cool tour. Highly recommend it. I did it with the City Pass. We got City Pass for like I think 5 attractions, and we just like hammered out like a bunch of museums, the architecture tour, of course, and we went to I think it's called the 360 deck or the Sky Deck or something on the Willis Tower. That was all really, really cool. John R. says, there are interesting rules around what you can photograph and record video of at the thermal pools in Iceland. Concerns of privacy, women bikinis, etc. Will do what I can for sure. Awesome. Well, I didn't know that, but it makes sense. You don't want to, inadvertently have someone in your video that is not appropriate. So that's very good. Calder DS. Hi, Stan. Can't stay for the live, but we'll watch a recording. Of course, I know. I think you asked me a question, so we will definitely get your question later on in the video. And so definitely check that out when you come back for the replay. Sunny Money, what's up, Stan? Good to see you, Sunny. How you doing? I know things have been going well for you on YouTube, so keep up the good work with that. Kirby G's, glad to join. About to go on a long drive. Going to listen on the way. Excellent. So I think that's a great time to listen to these live streams. It's more of a conversational tone. I'm trying to keep it more like, casual. But we're going to get into some good, heavy-hitting credit card content real soon when we get started with the presentation. Oh, Thomas says Arizona to SoCal. Excellent. So you're just going down, hopefully, maybe 15 to 10, or maybe one of those freeways. Definitely a nice drive. It's really nice here in Southern California. Pretty, I don't want to say cold. It's like 60 degrees, so it's not necessarily cold, but it's cool here. So it's definitely a very nice weekend. At least when I look outside the window, it's pretty sunny. So hopefully you have a great time here in Southern California. Great time to visit. Tara says, considering the Wells Fargo Active Cash card to complete my setup. Any thoughts on this card? Don't want the Citi Double Cash card and the custom card cash card now. Well, I think it depends on what other cards you have. If you're looking for a catch-all credit card, the Wells Fargo card is fine. I would say that if you wanted to couple that with a Wells Fargo autograph card, that would be a good combination because you have two of the same card that can both transfer to Wells Fargo transfer partners later on. If you're looking for cashback, though, I would recommend a different card, like, for example, the Fidelity Rewards Visa card, because the problem with the Active Cash is that it has it has foreign transaction fees, whereas the Fidelity Rewards Visa does not. And so if you could get a card that is a catch-all with no foreign transaction fees, you'll be able to use it when you travel abroad, if you travel abroad. Now, if you don't travel abroad, then obviously that doesn't matter anymore. But that's kind of what I would say in your situation, just not knowing what other cards you have in your portfolio. Mike from LA says, good morning, Stan. I think your name is probably Mike, and you're probably from LA. So good morning, and hopefully you're enjoying the Southern California weather. I see you have LAX on your icon, which is very cool. LAX is kind of a disaster airport, but of course, if you want to travel somewhere international, it's a great option to be, as long as you can get out of that loop, on time. And hopefully in 2028, when they finish that people mover, it's not going to be as bad, but probably it's still going to be pretty bad. We'll see. MP Rubio 84 says, nice cut. Thank you so much. Again, I had this cut a week ago. It sounds like I probably should have the same barber. So I'm going to probably just do that from now on because people seem to like this haircut. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Vincent says, save at Kirby G, safe driving. Lamb P says, hello, Stan and everyone. Hello, Lamb. Good to see you. Kevin Wynn says the U.S. Bank smartly got nerfed to hell, and you were absolutely right. That card is now super trash, as we would say. And so, if you got in before the switch, then that's great. Just use it as much as you can. I still use it. I still get the 2% plus 2% cash back. At least it says so on my U.S. Bank app. So we're gonna see how long that goes. But it's really nice that I have both the U.S. bar and the U.S. Bank Smartly. The only problem is now that when I do what's in my wallet, I can't really talk about them as much anymore because they're just, both of those are just not available in their current form. And so if you got in, any of you in the chat got in, kudos to you, because those are some pretty powerful cards, and probably you won't be seeing them for quite some time, just because the way the economy is going and the way that banks are being and the way that there are more statement credits and there's more annual fees. And we'll talk about, of course, that more in the near future here. Rob Bass says, can I beat the 524 rule if I, as 424, apply for two chase cards in one day? The answer is yes, you can. The 524 rule is based on the number of cards that report to your personal credit. If you apply for one card and get approved, technically it's not there. I know you did apply with Chase, so they should be able to see it, but ultimately the algorithm, I would imagine, would not have detected that as a new account until it posts onto your credit report officially. Chad Pennycuff is here. Howdy, Chad. Good to see you. Thanks for being a channel member and being a proud supporter of the channel. It's always good to see you and see your amazing US bar and Disney content combined. I am looking forward to seeing some more of that, since I think I'm headed to Disney World very soon, actually. Very good. Jay Chains is here. Jay Chains, you're going to be the feature and the star of the show today because we are featuring your credit card challenge. So thank you so much for submitting it. I know it's been a long time. You submitted it right after the last live stream last month, but it's going to be good. I'm really excited for it because there's a lot of great information that we're all going to learn from your particular challenge. Came home just in time for this. Did I miss anything? The answer is no. You're right on time. We're going to go through your credit card challenge in a little bit here once we get through some more comments and just kind of chill. But yeah. Welcome to the live stream. Vincent Pasquale says, Fidelity card. Oh, he says that too. Yeah, I really love that card. It's just, since it got like that $100 TSA pre-check and Global Entry Credit 2 plus the no FTFs, like it's like the best 2% card. I think the SoFi card also has no FTFs too, but I think there's some kind of checking account thing you got to do with it first. So I would just, for anything, Fidelity is great. I would just say, even, if you don't invest, which you should, but even if you don't invest, like the 2% cash back on that card is it's money. So I would highly recommend that for anyone who is just starting out, just wants a simple cashback card overseas, no problem. That's a great one to go with. Smart K. Ooh, is that a Q? Yeah, Smart KQJW. Good morning. Would anyone in their right mind own both the Amex Platt and CSR? Thanks. Good question. You know who would actually own both of those is Ramit Sethi, because I did a recent Walk with Stan video talking about that video that you may or may not have seen in the I think past week or two, where he said that his primary trifecta that he uses, and he recommends it for everybody, is the Amex Platinum, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Fidelity Rewards Visa. And while I think all three cards are good on their own individually, it depends on what you're doing with each card if that's good as a trifecta. I think it's a terrible trifecta just for spending purposes. I think if you're doing something specific, it may be worthwhile, but I didn't really think that was a really well-researched credit card video, which is fine because he's not a credit card person. He's a financial person. And so even though you think they'd be the same, as we all know in this live stream, credit cards are very, there's a lot of different details about them that you should know before applying for them and how to put them together to make good setups and how to use them appropriately for the redemptions. There's a lot of different minutia that a lot of individuals don't think about when they get credit cards. And so I'm going to go with no, I don't think it's a good combination. Although I will say, I know people such as Luke from Luke Points and Miles have had the Platinum and CSR, and he uses it very well, but it's for a different reason. He explains it very well how he uses it. I'm sure a lot of you here also have Platinum and CSR together, and you also probably use it in the right way too. But I know Ramit Sethi does not, so there's that. Not to say anything bad about him, I just wanted to say that, for that credit card video wasn't really that good. His financial stuff is pretty good from my perspective because I do listen to him, but that credit card video was just not on par with anything of quality. Andy Poe, you were in Chicago. Did you get a chance to check out the Priority Crap Lounge at ORD? Actually, I didn't fly into ORD. I flew into MDW. And so I did walk by the club at MDW, but it was we're full. So I said, nah, no, thank you. So I just kind of walked away and just didn't bother with any of the clubs in Chicago. So yeah, there's that. I did not get a chance to go to any of the clubs in Chicago, which is totally fine because these airport lounges are getting busier and busier. The Cookie Annihilator says, hello, Stan. Love from Chicago. Oh, thank you so much. You have a beautiful city. I was there last week when it was 40 degrees outside, so it was super cold. And by the time I left, it was getting to the 60s. And I think it's supposed to be pretty nice now. So I guess the cold weather must just follow me around. I don't know. Michael Y says, waiting for the day Alex gets the Priority Pass Lounge. We'll be sticking with Ontario and the Aspire Lounges till then. Yeah, that Aspire Lounge is still really good because every time I go there, it's still it's busy, but it's not that busy. There's always a seat you can find, at least the times that I go. And there's always food on the table, and there's always it's not that bad, but I've seen it get more and more busy as people have, know more and more about the Ontario Lounge. Kevin Wynn says, I have roughly credit card set up in City Star Premier or Capital and Saver, Wells Fargo Autograph, and BofA Premium Rewards or the Leeds version. You got a lot of different issuers there, so I think you have to figure out a way to make it work all together. It looks like most of your categories are covered, but definitely seeing how that works out would be one way to figure out what the next step for you would be. Rob Bass says, can I beat the 524 rule and 424? Oh, sorry, we said this already. The answer is yes, you can. Robert J says, I'm not seeing a join channel or membership option on the app. Can somebody help me out? So you can't actually join memberships on the app, but you can join memberships actually on, you can actually join it on the desktop. Excuse me, I had a little brain fart there. So if you go to desktop, you can definitely do that. I do want to mention that Chad left a super chat as well. Thanks for all you do, brother. Appreciate the super chat. And so I, definitely love doing all these live streams and all these credit card videos. So definitely want to, share the knowledge and hopefully learn a little bit from you guys as well. So thank you so much for that super chat, Chad. Let me see. So where am I? I got lost here in the chat here. Okay, so chat's here. Where am I? Right over here. Chad said, I got into both US Bar and Forex Smartly 1.0, thanks to you, Stan. Of course, and I know that we've had a little side chat on Discord about both of those cards and how we maximize them, so that has been really, really helpful. So I appreciate you and your knowledge, Chad. Oh, yeah, Rob J also has both the US Bar and the old Smartly card. Excellent, excellent. So those are the only two cards you really need for basically all of life, so that's pretty awesome. Rodrigo says, if you were running $17,000 a year on gas purchases, that's a lot on gas. What is that? That's almost, it's like $1,200 a month, excuse me. That's a lot. What would be your go-to card for that? Well, I know the Wyndham Rewards business has a really high gas multiplier. I can't remember off the top of my head if it has a cap or not. I would honestly just pick a card that has no cap and move with that. So things like the autograph card is one, the City Strata Premier is one. If you wanted to be super extra, you could get multiple AAA travel advantage cards, but I think that's not necessarily needed. If you had a US Bar, that would be probably the best because there's no cap on that one, and you can just, as long as you take mobile wallet, you just keep tapping that one, and that would be okay. But I would just go with one of those cards. I'm not sure if there's another 5% gas card out there that has no cap on it. That's the issue. But yeah, that's kind of what I would say is one of those cards with no cap, and most of them are going to be 3% or 3x equivalent cards. Kevin Wynn says, I'm thinking to switch US Bank to BofA Travel, unlimited, both versions, premium rewards card because of the 2.65%. Yeah, if you can do that, that'd be great. I will say the premium rewards and elite, that's the same card. So I would just say pick one of those and just stick with it. So you don't have to pay the annual fee twice. As terms of the travel and unlimited, the travel, the way you redeem those points is annoying because you have to redeem it against I believe it's a travel or a dining purchase, as opposed to unlimited cash. You can just direct deposit into your account. So that's a little bit kind of a small thing in what you kind of pay for that no foreign transaction fees on the travel rewards card. If you downgrade or product change a Premium Rewards Elite or Premium Rewards card to an unlimited cash, supposedly the no FTF stick. So even though that card originally, the limited cash, has foreign transaction fees, if you product change from a higher tier card that has none, that should stick. And so it's kind of one of those things that may or may not happen depending on what you get in the mail. I think they'll tell you in the little pamphlet they give to you if it has FTFs or not. And so just think about that too. Otherwise, I don't know if I would really bother with the travel rewards card, but just to give you a little bit of knowledge there on the Bank of America cards. All right, so we have some stuff here. We have people saying hi to each other. Vicky says, if you have the JPM Reserve, is the Amex Platinum worth it? Thank you. I don't know much about that card because we still cover it in the consumer space. I would say that if you want to go to Centurion Lounges, then the answer is obviously no. But if you don't mind going to Chase Sapphire Reserve Lounges, then the answer is, you could have the Reserve card and not the Platinum card. It depends on what you want to do with the card. You could have both, depending on what you're looking for. But of course, that Reserve card is a much higher annual fee. But at that point, in terms of if you have that much wealth that you're getting a JPM Reserve card, what's another $695? It's like a drop in the bucket for you. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Agent says, hey, I actually have both the Platinum CSR. Yeah, no shade to that. It's just depending on how you use the cards. And so I think, everyone has their own setup. So if it works for you, it works for you. Just Stevo says, what to do with 173,000 city points and 180K Amex points in the US? Can't go overseas right now. I am not the best person to ask for that. If there's someone like that knows a lot about the redemption side on domestic travel, definitely chime in. I know there's like some JetBlue transfer partners for Amex as well as Hawaiian to Alaska. I think a Hawaiian Alaska thing would be the best thing for Amex. For Citi, I'm not entirely sure. You could always do the things like the Avios transfers to American Airlines or that sort of thing. But again, I'm not the best person to ask, so I'm sorry I can't help you with that question. But there's definitely ways to use those points for redemptions that are domestic. We also have a new super chat here from Bluesy Submarine, $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I think it's down further here. So where am I here? Perfect. Let me see. We have a lot of stuff going on here. Bluesy says, I do have the Platinum Venture X and CSR. I'm very happy with the setup. Well, great. And thanks again for the super chat as well. Agent says, I use the Platinum for its benefits and the CSR for the 3X on travel. Okay, that's pretty cool. So again, everyone has their own way of using it. As long as you know what you're doing and you're using the card to its fullest potential in your situation, then that's fine. Andy says, hello. As someone who only makes $40K a year, having CSP, CFU, Venture X, Saver, and Hilton Honor Surpass, do you think this setup is good? Or would I need something else to round up? Thank you and love your content. Well, thank you very much. Andy, so it looks like you have a modified Chase trifecta, so just 2 Chase cards, Venture X for the catch-all, Saver, and you have the Capital and Duo, Surpass. I think you're fine. You're just missing gas technically, although the Surpass, I believe, does cover gas as well. I think this is fine. A lot of questions that come with these setups is do I cover all the major categories is the first step. And the second step is, do I cover what I want to do with my credit card? So if you're looking to transfer points out to transfer partners to do travel, then you have to look at those transfer partners from Chase, Capital One, and see if that'll work out. The Surpass is great because you can get the Hilton Gold status right away, and you also get a lot of elevated multipliers on Hilton purchases as well. I'm not sure if you're the kind of individual that would make it to the 15K in a year for the spending. I would just try to limit yourself in terms of the annual fees just to kind of save as much money as you can. But I think this is fine. It depends, of course, on what you spend the most amount of money in. Rizzy808 says, hey Stan, any guidance on 148 for CSP? Even though I SM Chase. I'm not sure what that means. They could not find my Sapphire bonus, but I know I received the sub 2021 July. Should I risk a hard pull based? Oh, the secure message. I secure message Chase. You're 148. Okay. Yeah, I think I would wait like another month just to be sure, like 49th month. But of course, you want to be mindful of this 100K bonus. I think if you yourself know that you got the bonus around that time, this should be okay. We just want to get your application in before that 100K bonus goes away. So I would wait to the very end. There's no rush while the bonus is going on, but if it starts to seem like it's going away, I would just go ahead and fire that application off. Jake Upper says, with the Amex Platinum and with Delta as your airline, if you fly first class, what other fees can be covered by the airline fee benefit? So good question. I'm not entirely sure because most of stuff that you have is already covered, like the checked bags and what have you. I believe if you have a Delta, probably Delta Reserve or Delta Lounge access too. I don't know if you get that automatically because I don't fly Delta as much. I would imagine you do, but if you don't get lounge access for whatever reason, that would count for your airline fee reimbursement as well. But yeah, if anyone has any questions or any answers to this question, definitely let me know. As someone who doesn't fly Delta as much, this is not something that I'm as familiar with. Okay. Tara says, if you have the Fidelity rewards card to earn 2% cashback, can you use that cashback as a statement credit, or do you have to invest it into a separate Fidelity account? So I believe you can put it into a Fidelity account, like a brokerage, but then you can withdraw that money out of the brokerage into your bank. So it's not like a big deal. You can do either one of those things. Jabron says, I believe Chase hard pulls credit for co-branded business cards, even if you have personal cards. Correct? That is correct. Chase hard pulls everything. So just keep that in mind as you apply for their cards. Their business cards should not report to your personal credit, though, so that's a nice thing, but your hard pulls will be on that credit report. DS says, thanks for the reply. In my quest to simplify it all, I was about to cancel it, thinking I will keep it for one more year and see. I can always use it for a few things and make it break almost even. Excuse me. Yeah, I would just, be careful about canceling cards you can't get ever again. US Bar is one of those one-of-a-kind cards that people just want to have so badly, but they can't. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. I mean, $400 annual fee is high. But again, with that $325 dining and travel credit, that's only $75. And I think we've talked about this kind of offline too. In your situation, I think that $75 is really a drop in the bucket for the opportunity to be able to get 4.5x on all of your mobile purchases. So just keep that in mind, DS. Okay, so I have a lot more other comments. I do want to get started on the presentation now. So let's go ahead and jump over to that. So the live Q&A is here today. We had a lot of great questions on the community post, so we're going to go over those one by one. I do have polls, though, in this particular presentation, as I usually do. So for all of you that are in the chat, go ahead and go to menti.com and enter this code to get onto the polling software so you can actually vote on different things that we talk about as we go through this presentation. So the code is there on the bottom, or you can scan the QR code. I'm going to do this right now. And basically, let's see here. Got to get the right numbers here. Okay. All right, great. So we're going to go with a very easy question, which may or may not know, but maybe some of you that know me pretty well may get right. Let's see here. So I got to take this off and put this on. Okay, that's how you do it now. So you can also press the like button on this question too. Basically, this is a question asking, at this point of the year in 2025, which hotel program have I stayed at the most so far? So we're going to get the voting started now in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And the 4 options are Marriott, Hilton, IHG, or Hyatt. Which one do you think I've stayed at the most so far? And so you can see that there's some voting going on here. It seems Hilton is the one that's on top, but it's pretty, I don't want to say random. It's pretty distributed well, because of, it's hard to tell. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me. And so most of my videos kind of go through 3 different ones. I'm glad no one's picking the one that's obviously not correct until right now. Just I don't know if that one's being a jokester or not, but there we got 1 vote for Hyatt, which is, by the way, the wrong answer. But there are 3 other answers which hotel program actually I stay at the most so far. Robert J says it's choice, or it's not actually choice because it's not even an option, but I have not stayed at a choice hotel quite yet this year. Ian M says IHG or Marriott. Ian M is on to something. I mean, it's one of those 4, obviously. Michael Leap says, trick question is the motel. I've never been in a Motel 6 in like 15 years, so I definitely am not doing that as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop the voting there, and I'm going to show you what the actual answer is. And so I'm going to have to remove this, put this back up, and then the answer actually is IHG. And so it's actually IHG by a large margin. So I've stayed in IHG hotels 14 nights this year, as well as Marriott 3 times, Hilton 2 times, Hyatt 1 time, and then other hotels too. So the reason why it's IHG is mainly because IHG is primarily the one that I stay at for business travel. So Son Win has been paying attention. And yes, I do stay a lot at Holiday Inn Expresses for those business trips. I did have the opportunity to choose between, that versus Town Place Suites or Residence Inns or Courtyards. But for me, I just have found out of those 4 options that the Holiday Inn Express has been pretty nice. There's also Hyatt Places, which I haven't tried yet, so maybe I should do that at some point to just figure it out. I have freedom to pick whatever hotel I want when I travel for business, but I don't know. I like Holiday Inn Express. It's been pretty good. And so there's that. Ian M says that's a lot for 4 months. Great job. Thank you. I don't want to stay at these hotels, by the way. It's just that's for business. The other ones, the Marriott, Hiltons, and Hyatts, those have been more for like personal stays, so that's been nice. Okay, so now you guys are all plugged into the actual voting software. So when another poll comes up, you'll all be ready to go and do that. So we are going to move into our featured event today, which is going to be our credit card challenge. That was me on the microphone. So our challenger was JC, who hopefully is still here in the house. He's looking forward to the challenge. He is also a channel member. So if you want to, again, join the membership, definitely check that out down below. in the description of the video, as well as, if you would like to see some of those Walk with Stans episodes. So the challenge here is this. His challenge was to create a 5-card team hybrid setup and a roadmap from his starting 2 cards, which is the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards card, which he's at the Platinum tier, as well as the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now we can see already that he is Chase 124 because there's only 1 card in recent times. He's had the Customized Cash Rewards cards for a little bit of time. So what is his spending value? Because that's actually really important to create a credit card setup as far as the earnings go, is how can you target the spending if you don't know what your spending is. So his spending is per month, rent at $1,500, groceries $1,200, which includes $400 at Costco, dining of $800, travel of $500, online shopping of $250, gas at $150, other at $100, and a total of $4,500 per month. It's pretty good. That's about $50,000 a year in spending, which is pretty, I would say not average, but I would say a good amount. J Change is still here, so you're going to get to see this live, which is awesome. Ian M says he would take that B of A card to Costco and buy gold. Challenge over. Ian's had a little jokes here, but he's not wrong, depending on how gold goes, right? Clairvoyant says no utilities, huh? Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be part of that, I'm sure. So I think there's some that's going to be missing. That does come up later on, but I definitely wanted to point out that there, are some things that are probably missing here, which is fine because we're just doing a general overview of his credit card setup. So basically other stats of him, he has a FICO score that's reasonable. Chase 124, as we had talked about before. He flies ORD to BWI, that's Chicago to Baltimore, once per month. I'm not sure if that's for business or for personal, but either way, it's a once per month thing. He flies to Asia twice per year. Oh, by the way, he says that for those Chicago flights, he typically flies Southwest, but it's open to other airlines. He says that some cards must have no foreign transaction fees, and he wants a max 2 cards with annual fees in this particular setup. And so those are kind of the rules we're going to go with based on what he's starting with and what we're going to go. So again, the starting cards are listed here. If you think about the CCR with the Platinum tier, this is what you're going to look at. So you get a 4.5% choice category, which is, of course, is travel, dining, online shopping, gas, and home. I think it's like home purchases and something else. There's also 3% grocery and Costco category. So it's grocery stores and wholesale clubs, which does include Costco. The combined 4.5% and 3% categories are maxed out at $2,500 per quarter. So that's something to know about. Also, there's the 1.5% other category, just so we have that there. And Chase Sapphire Preferred has 3x dining, 3x streaming, and 2x travel, as we all know. Jay Chain says $200 utilities approximately, so that kind of comes into play as well. I didn't factor the utilities charge into this particular analysis, but it's good to know that we have it. We'll put that kind of into that catch-all category, at least for this particular analysis. So he actually provided me 2 options that he was looking at, and so we're going to have 3 options. He's going to have the 2 options that he provided to me, and then I'm going to actually show you what I recommend instead. It's actually... My recommendation is very close to his second option, but it is a little different, and you'll kind of see what I mean by that in a little bit. So his first one is his Roadmap 1, which is basically taking the Premium Rewards card as the primary main card, and then getting a second customized cash rewards card as a secondary or specialty card. So you can see the breakdown of the spending is here. He's using primarily the CCRs to cover gas, online shopping, grocery and wholesale clubs, as well as streaming and apps. But he does use the PR card for that catch-all category and for travel. He does say he uses the CSP for dining, but I would argue that you could probably use the PR for that too, because you do get 3x on that too, depending on what you're looking for. Want to be more consistent, you can just use the PR card for that. But the CSP does have that primary auto rental collision damage waiver, which does not come on the Premium Rewards card. So I think that's good to keep that card around. But ultimately, he thinks he's going to cancel that, or not cancel, product change the CSP to a Freedom Flex for those rotating categories, which I think is fine. The second roadmap is similar. He also wants to use the Premium Rewards card as well as get a second customized cash rewards card, but he also wants to get into the city system as well by getting the custom cash card, as well as the Strata Premier card. And so when he does that, you can see that things are shifted a little bit. You've got more 5% cashback cards or 5% cards to work around with, or in his case, 4.5% as a platinum tier. He's got the gas at custom cash, the dining, travel, which is just flights, hotels, and grocery stores covered by Premier. He's got his wholesale clubs, online shopping covered by the CCR, as well as streaming and apps. And then the other category for travel, which is the other one. Unfortunately, the Star Premier only covers airline and hotel. So the Premium Rewards card, which has a more broad travel category, including both travel and transit, that would be covered on the Premium Rewards card. So that's his second roadmap. And so you'll see that he also wants the product change the CSP down to this Chase Freedom Flex as well. So the Chase really isn't playing a big role in this particular setup, even though he has the card. And, I would tend to agree. So this is what my recommendation would be. So for me, I actually broke down his spending in this way. And so we didn't cover rent. Now, rent could be on like a welcome offer card. We didn't discuss that yet, but I would imagine as he's getting most of these other cards, he would be putting rent as a welcome offer on a charge on a welcome offer card, which is totally fine. But I think if you wanted to think about having it as a base level of card that you would use consistently, the built card is in its current form good for that with no annual fee, 1x on rent. I would use that for that. I'd also use the City Star Premier. I like that idea. It does cover a lot of those spending categories you use a lot. And so groceries, dining, travel, and gas all go onto that card, assuming, again, the travel is only airline and hotel. And then you also have the CCR card for Costco groceries, online shopping, and the other category. Now, in the ways it's listed now, you can actually use this card you can only use one card for this because, as we talked about before, there's a $2,500 per quarter maximum limit when you have that CCR card. And if you do 400, 250, 100, that's 750. That's still below that threshold for that $2,500 limit, which is good. If you add to the utilities, you do that too. That's still 1.5% cash back. It's not like 2%, which is the kind of the table minimum. But the reason why I said that it's okay for you not to have a catch-all credit card, at least in this situation, is because the difference between 1.5% and 2% is so low that it doesn't really make that big of a difference. So I believe if you use the $100 as an example, if you get $100 or $1,200 a year in that catch-all category for a 2% card, it's not that much more if you would get that versus a 1.5% card. I believe it's like a difference of $9 or something. And so obviously you would want to get one if you can. The issue is that you want a maximum of 5 cards and a maximum of this sort of thing. So I wanted to just make sure that I kind of abide to those limits. If those limits weren't there, then I would definitely say just go ahead and get a 2% card. That would be fine. So at this point, we have 3 cards. We have Built, City Star Premier, and the Customized Cash Rewards card. And so like I said before, it's a great card. Annual fee, $95. No foreign transaction fees. You have a lot of options to choose for travel and for all the different spending categories. You have that $100 annual hotel benefit that you can get after spending, I think, $500 on the City Travel Portal. So you can negate the annual fee depending on how you use it. So that's also great. But the other stats I want to cover, I put it in this way because I want to cover the other stats to make it better for you in this situation. And so if you look at this, I want to cover first the fly to Asia twice per year situation. And so if you have Built and you have City and you use one of these transfer partners, both those points you earn can be transferred to like the same. So for example, you can transfer Built points and City points to Emirates, to Virgin Atlantic, and to Cathay Pacific Asia Miles. And so again, you want to see if you can do that, that'd be great. If I don't know where in Asia you're going, but I would imagine that if you fly Cathay Pacific, you can go anywhere in Asia if you stop in Hong Kong first, right? And so there's that. And so I would say if that's your goal, that would be a great way to do that. I personally use Cathay Pacific Asia Miles to transfer to Japan Airlines, which was pretty cool. And so that's another option you can choose as well. But it depends on where you want to go, right? So redemption is important. But that's what I would say with the setup I provided is that you could use both Built and the City cards to get to these things, these transfer partners. Of course, City has other partners but themselves, like Ava Airlines that go through Taiwan, and so you could choose that too if you wanted to. Okay. I also want to cover this ORD to BWI situation. And so you do fly to Chicago to Baltimore once a month. And so I did just do a quick Google Flights to see what airlines actually do that. And so you have American, United, and Southwest. Lounge-wise, there's not really much options, just ORD. Typically, you have the United clubs or the American Airline Admirals clubs. BWI, you have the club, which is the Priority Pass Lounge. So the question here is, do you choose American Airlines, United, or Southwest? And so I guess you could figure out what you wanted to do based on the location, but because of Chicago and how it's very United heavy, it's really hard to get good perks if you were to get flight status with them eventually. So I would kind of go towards American Airlines or Delta if I could, just because there's less people flying through Chicago on those airlines, less of the business travelers. So I would go with American Airlines, and that's why I would choose the AA Aviator Red card for this. Now, we all know that Citi is interesting because Traveling with Lynn kind of popped off right here with the exact thing I was thinking about. Is it any news on when Citi is adding American as a transfer partner? So I don't know the answer to that, but we know that they will be adding their cards as the exclusive provider for Citi. So if that's the case, then you're already in a good spot because you're already going to be starting to earn Citi points. And if they do become a transfer partner with Citi, that's going to be really, really helpful for you. I mentioned the Aviator Red card only because you do fly once a month. I don't know if you check bags or not. You may or may not, but if you do check a bag, if it's $35, $40 ish a bag round trip, so it's $80-ish per trip, 80 times 12, 9. That's almost like $1,000 of bag fees if you go once a month round trip, and so that's a lot of savings on a card if you just have a $99 annual fee card. So I recommend one of those American Airlines cards for that. But because we know that Citi will eventually be the exclusive issuer of these American Airlines cards, I would just recommend getting the Aviator Red card first. That way you can get this card, have it under your belt, and then eventually, if you decide to kind of move forward with American Airlines and have more of the cards, you'll not miss out on this particular card. And it's got a really great, it's got a great welcome offer of 60K miles on the first purchase, and you pay for the annual fee without $100. That's also really good too. J Chain says, I almost always check bags. That's why I love Southwest so much. Well, we all know about what happened with Southwest. If you do check bags and it's like at least one bag, I think that having an American Airlines card or a United card or a Southwest card would be very important. I would go with American Airlines in your situation. The United cards, we'll go over those later on, did have a refresh of all of their cards, but they're all higher annual fees now. And because we're looking at Citi cards for you in your credit card setup, I think AA is a better match than United or Southwest. And so that's where I think would go. So I would go with AA Aviator Red. Definitely a great card to consider. He also says he flies to Taiwan twice a year. So, if you wanted to use Citi for Ava Airlines, that is like a nonstop from probably wherever you're flying from. I would imagine it's ORD, but I'm not sure. So there's that. So that's a great thing to think about. And then, of course, Citi also has Cathay Pacific. So that's not directly to Taiwan. But it's nice to know that you have options. You have Starlux, you have Ava, and there's one more. Someone remind me which one the third Taiwan. I can't remember off the top of my head what the third one is. Okay. So that's that. So the final setup here that I'm recommending is the Built card, the Customized Cash Rewards card, the Citi Setup Premier card, and the Barclay card American Airline Aviator Red. So you also have that CSP card, the Chase Sapphire Preferred card for that 2X travel and transit category that does not fit on the Citi Premier card. Again, you can keep that, you can cancel that. That is a third annual fee card, I get that, but the main setup that I have for you is this 4-card setup, which I think covers pretty much everything. If you wanted to add like a Citi double cash, you could totally do that, and that would make it easier for you to have like eventually a Citi trifecta. But I think what we're going here is Citi, just because it does a really good job covering the categories that you're mentioning. Now, having said that, I see you want to go through Bank of America too, because they have your platinum tier, so you get those really great cashback options as well. So I think it would just be a matter of, as you move forward and you figure out what is your highest spending categories, which will change over time, then you can see if doing more of a cashback setup like with Bank of America is more something you're looking for. Because you could really cover everything you wanted, like you said in the first option you mentioned, which is the Premium Rewards CCR1, CCR2. But this one I think is good because it gives you that American Airlines credit card or airline credit card to use as a benefits card, so you can get those free check bags. And you can see in this setup we have two specialty cards, the built and the customized cash rewards card, and then we have the main card, which is the City Strata Premier card, and then we also have the Barclay card, Aviator Red card as your card for your secondary setup used primarily for the benefits. And you don't want to underestimate priority boarding either. That's also a big thing. I personally love it. Some people don't really care, but when I am able to board earlier and know that my bag has a spot on the carry-on, the overhead bins, it makes me feel better and less anxious. And so I think it's a really great thing that is offered if you have one of those credit cards. And so definitely worthwhile getting one of them. If you decide not to do AA, you can get your equivalent United, equivalent Southwest card. I would say in its current form, the Southwest Priority card is really the best one to get out of the personal versions. For United, actually, the United Quest card looks really good. It actually looks better than the Explorer card, in my opinion. It used to be flipped, but after the refresh, I think the Quest card is better. It just costs a lot more money. You got to deal with more statement credits at the same time. And we'll kind of go over those in a moment as well. Thank you. So Jay Chan says, I think Ava, Starlux, and China Airlines. Yeah, so it's China Airlines. That's what it was. That I was thinking of. So China Airlines, Cathay, and Starlux. And then those are the three for Taiwan. Mike Yip also says it seems like the CSP is the odd one out. It's absolutely true. And I believe he also said that Starlux is beginning in Ontario soon, which is true. Right now, Ontario only does China Airlines to Taiwan, but they will soon have Starlux, and I'm also excited to try that out. Hopefully for my next Asia trip, I want to take Starlux over to Taiwan and see how that goes. So that's going to be awesome. Okay. Clairvoyant says, this is a lot of issuers for a simplistic setup. I know. The Barclay card is not really meant to be like a long-standing card. It's meant to just be a placeholder until Citi takes everything over. I just want JC to get this card in before they take that card away, because you have a good welcome offer, and just get that card done zone out of the way, and then you can just do something else with your time. What's nice about the way that I did it, though, is that if you kind of apply for things, only only one of those cards has a welcome offer. So you'd get the City Star Premier card first. You'd have that welcome offer to work with. You can also get the Barclay card and the Wells Fargo card probably together on the same day. And both of those don't technically have a welcome offer. The Barclay card just has a charge on it and then pay your annual fee. It is a welcome offer, but it's not really, because it's pretty easy. So I only focus on the Star Premier as that kind of usual welcome offer. Because you only got 4 cards, though, you're at Chase 424. So you now have the opportunity to, if you see an elevated offer with Chase, you can grab that both on the business side or the personal side, which is great. So you have that option. Also, you can consider doing the Citi Custom Cash and Double Cash, like I mentioned to you. Of course, doing that will put you at 524, so that's a problem if you're thinking of getting a Chase card later on. Just be mindful of the Citi 1 of 8, 265 rule, which is you can only get 1 Citi card in 8 days, only 2 Citi cards in a 65-day period. I believe there's an Apple to only Citi cards, not co-branded cards. But someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. Of course, you can also downgrade the CSP to Chase Sapphire, the Chase Freedom Flex when you want to do that as well. Okay. Dream for Point says it's a simplistic setup, but the coverage is good. Not every setup needs to be 1 card. I totally agree with that. Let's see. If Barclays card converts to Citi, is that considered a new credit account as far as 524? So what's probably going to happen is that the Barclays card is not going to convert to Citi. The Barclays cards can convert from an Aviator Red to a World Arrival card or something like that. Some kind of main Barclays card. I don't think it's going to go to the Citi account. I think it's just going to be a Barclays card. So then you can, at that point, decide what you want to do with it. With Citi, they have their own ecosystem. So that's what is probably going to happen with that situation. Jefferson Perez Diaz says, how does the 4.5% online shopping work? I don't see that on the website for the B of A card. Essentially, it's a 3% online shopping card, but then if you have platinum tier with Bank of America, which means you get, if you have $50,000 to $100,000 in assets with them, you get a 50% credit card boost. So then that 50% gets applied to the 3%. So it's then 4.5%, and that's how that works out. But it's not a card that you get automatically with 4.5%. Okay, and Michael Yip just says what I just said. I don't think cardholders will be converted from one bank to another unless he buys Barclays AA portfolio. Okay. Oh, Michael Yip says, yep, Citi will be applying. So I guess I'm totally wrong. Just scratch whatever I just said. Since this, Vincent, who knows more than I do, says Citi will be acquiring the Barclays A portfolio. I don't know. Again, it'd be interesting to see if they actually convert a Barclays card to a Citi card, because I've never really seen that happen before. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but we'll see. Jay Chin says, thanks a lot, Sam. That was super helpful. I appreciate that. Okay, well, good. Well, we're not quite done yet, so we have three options here. First setup we talked about, which is just basically the Bank of America Premium Rewards card. We have the second setup, which is the Premium Rewards card, plus the Strata Premier card and the Custom Cash card. And then the third one is the one I recommended, which is the Built card, Customized Cash, Strata Premier, and the Barclays Aviator Red card. And so those are the three types of setups. So the question now goes out to you guys in the audience. What do you think you should pick based on those three different options? What do you think JC should pick in his situation if you were going to be JC? So again, go to menti.com. This is the code you want to enter in. If you were here at the beginning, you should already be into that already, into the polling software. And so the question, again, I'm going to move this out here, put this over here. Which credit card setup would you recommend? To option 1, option 2, option 3, and go ahead and just hit that like button to let me know that you're already in the chat there as well. That would be awesome. And so we'll start the polling now in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So what credit card setup would you recommend? Would you do the Bank of America with 2 CCRs? Would you do it with Strata Premier? Or would you do the one that I recommended as option number 3? So we're getting some votes in now. It looks like so far we're favoring the one that I recommended. Again, option 2 and option 3 are fairly similar to each other. I think the only difference is that one has a Built card and one has a Premium Rewards card. I really do think that having an airline card, JC, in your situation is important, just because, like you said, you check bags often. And so you will get your annual fee back and many times over just by having a single airline card, whether it be the United Explorer at $150 annual fee, the Barclays card red at $99, the Southwest Priority at $149. Like, you're going to get that money back like 10 times over if you travel once a month. So it looks like the majority of people prefer the third option. That includes the Built card, Strata Premier, Customized Cash Rewards, and the Aviator Red card. I'll just say that all three options are valid. Option 1 actually is the most simplistic option, where you just have basically 3 cards, but 1 Premium Rewards and 2 CCRs. So if you're looking for simplicity, that's not bad. And you're looking for a setup that doesn't involve transfer partners, it's also not bad either. But it depends, again, on your rewards goals in this situation. So we're going to end up voting here, but it looks like it's pretty clear that more than half of you prefer that the option 3 is the one that you would go with. So hopefully that was helpful for you, JC. Thanks again for the challenge question. That was really, really cool, and hope you all enjoyed that one. I'm going to put that back up here. If you out there in the chat have any idea for a future challenge, let me know. Send me an email or message me on my website, and I'd be happy to feature it on this live stream so we all can learn from it. If there's any other questions about that or any kind of opportunities to learn, just drop them down in the chat real quick here. Clairvoyant says, I know he didn't discuss his cell phone cost, but the Built card gives you $800 in coverage with a $25 deductible. That's very true, and that's pretty cool for a no annual fee card. I think the Autograph card does that too from Wells Fargo, but for his situation, that would be helpful to put his cell phone charges on the Built card for that cell phone protection. Ultimate Tech Guy said, I applied for the Citi Custom Cash and it was denied due to low credit history and low utilization. And so it and CFF. When should I try to apply for a double cash? I want to get 2 customized cash cards. I would wait probably like 3 months or so at least, just let things cool down and try again. Let's see. SYYY says, BofA customized cash, Chase Sapphire preferred, and Navy Fed 2% cashback card works well for you. Sounds great. That's a nice 3-card setup for you there. And Jay Chains at the very end says he is convinced option number 3 makes sense actually. Well, good. I think that it really is nice to kind of talk it through, see what works for you, see kind of like what your individual the goals are. Again, just talking it through, I think, is very helpful. And if you decide to go with AA or Southwest or United, I think that was kind of the big learning point, is just having an airline card, especially if you check bags. It's a very good idea. Awesome. Okay, so that is that. I do want to mention that JC Chains is a channel member, and so there are these videos called Walks with Stan, where I do actually walk around for a couple minutes and just talk off the off the cuff, just you and me walking around, getting my steps in with any credit card topic or anything I'm thinking about that week. And so channel members get early releases. If you'd like to join the membership, it is there for you down in the comments and descriptions below. So there's that. And there's also Bond Pointers is my newsletter as well, and so those videos also eventually get posted to this YouTube channel. So if you want to see what those videos look like, that's where you'd find them. I think now if you type in Pond Pointers, you can actually get it on YouTube pretty easily. So there's that. But yeah, so thank you so much for that question, JC, and we'll kind of move on to our next section, which is credit card setups. And so there's another question here that involves a credit card setup, and so I do want to go over that. And this is from D Green, who I believe was here in the chat earlier just now. He says, hey, Stan, I currently hold the Capital One Duo, which is the Venture X plus the Saver, Strata Premier, and Sapphire Preferred as my core cards. There's a lot of overlap in my setup, so long-term, I think it makes sense to focus on 2 ecosystems versus splitting spend between all 3. How would I go about choosing that? Or is there a scenario where keeping all 3 makes sense? Thanks. So yeah, I think if you're going for simplicity, 2 is easier to handle. 3 actually is not too bad, and there are situations where 3 would be okay, and so we'll go over that in a moment. But there's one thing that is very, very true in what you said, is that there is a lot of overlap. And so this is kind of visually what your credit card setup looks like. Again, you have a catch-all credit card with the Venture X. You have multiple cards that cover grocery and dining and streaming. And then you have the Strata Premier that covers kind of that select travel category, with the CSP, the Sapphire Preferred, covering that other category at 2x. And so you do have everything, for the most part, covered pretty well. But the question you have is, should I keep it with 2, or should I keep it with 3 different ones? So let's go ahead to the first question, which is what I want to focus on first, is what are your top spending categories? So this is a very simple question, but it has a very complex answer because there's not as much information as we had in the first question, where we kind of knew a lot more information. So you can see that with earnings, if you know what your top spending categories, it'll help you figure out which card you want to focus on. And so the way I see it right now for you is that you have the Capital One Duo already, and that covers a lot of the spending that you would typically do for most things. And then you have the Strata Premier card and the Sapphire Preferred. So the question is, do you want to go Chase route or do you want to go City route? Those are the two, I guess, diverging paths to take. So one thing that I see that's missing in your core credit card setup would be these specialty cards. So those are the 5x or 5% cashback type of cards where you would earn that kind of level of rewards in a single category. So for example, the Chase Freedom Flex, the Ink Cash, the City Custom Cash, those can help get you a higher return on those main categories that you may spend on you have a lot of spending in those categories. And so I think thinking about that would be helpful. But to really dive into the next question, which is Chase or City, I think what you have to think about also is not only the earnings side of that question, but also the redemption side as well. And so the redemption side is, what are your goals for your credit card setup? And we didn't talk about that in the question, but it sounds like because you're using a lot of these point earning cards, it's going to be for a redemption of some kind. We don't know where it's going to be. We don't know what airlines you prefer, but answering those questions are going to be helpful because then you can figure out which ecosystem you want to target. And so if we look at Capital One, City, and Chase, you can see that these transfer partners all transfer from all 3 of these issuers. So Flying Blue, KLM, Virgin Atlantic, Emirates, JetBlue, and Singapore Airlines all transfer to those partners. So if you want to keep all the cards and have 3 ecosystems and you want to use one of these transfer partners, you can do that, and that's not a problem because they all transfer to that same partner. But if you wanted to do a specific partner that was not covered or something like that, then that would be a different story. And so Wong Wei Travels here now. It's good to see you, Wong Wei. Thanks for stopping by. Ian M says, apparently gel added to built as 1-to-1. That would be actually great. I haven't seen that, but I got to look at that right after this live stream to make sure that's a thing. That would be pretty cool. And then John says, what's up, Wong Wei? And then So that's the earnings and the redemption side of things for this particular question. And so answering those questions is going to help you to determine Chase or Citi. So the recommendations for me is it's open. I don't know if there's a one way or the other I would go. I'm always a big fan of simplicity. So if I would cut down to two, I would. But having said that, I have 3 or more ecosystems in my own setup. So I would be kind of hypocritical if I told you to that, that's too complex. It's not. Having 3 ecosystems is actually pretty easy. If you count things like, hotel programs, airline programs, points from cashback, all that stuff. Like there's so many in my personal setup. So 3 actually really isn't that bad. And I think you're in a good spot because you can determine where you want to go. I would say if you wanted to make your core credit card setup more streamlined, that would be the first thing I would do, is figuring out like how can I make a very optimized core credit card setup, and then I would jump to now you get the earnings side taken care of, which is the easier part. Now let's focus on the redemption side of where I want to put these points into. So having said that, Chase is easier to earn points through welcome offers. So if you want to get a lot of points very quickly, you can just use Chase to do that as long as you're under 524, because those welcome offers are really good. And there's a lot of good ones now, like the 100K Sapphire Preferred. We already have one, but that's one. You have the IHG, business card. That's got another one that's really good. And so other ones will come up too, like the Marriott 5 card or 5 free night one will come up eventually at some point. And then, the United ones currently have all elevated offers too, if you want to look at those. There's a lot of options. So think of what you want to do. Citi has the best long-term core setup. The problem that plagues Chase, as we all know, is that there's always going to be an issue with groceries and gas with Chase. Now you have Citi already with the Strata Premier, so that's already good. So if you have a Citi setup, your core setup is going to be pretty solid if you decide to go with Citi. So I would say that. But having said all of that, so Clairvoyant says PayPal debit or Citi custom cash. Yeah, exactly. Again, I don't know. And Journey for Points also says PayPal debit. The reason why I didn't say that, because I don't know if his goal is cashback or points. I assumed it was points because he used only point earning cards. But if cashback is the goal, I love the PayPal debit card. That thing is a monster. So it's basically a better version of a Citi custom cash card with a higher limit, except you can't transfer to partners. And so definitely a good option for sure. Oh, D Green's already here. These are good questions to think about to help focus my setup. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that you're here and you're able to listen to this live. D Green also says, I'm the primary earner in my family, and dining grocery is my highest spend category outside of my mortgage. Okay. Well, then you already have, if we go back here, you already have a Saver card and you already have a Strata Premier card. So you have double coverage. I would just choose one of those cards to focus on and then call it a day. If you wanted to get like the custom cash for like the gas card, or if you wanted to go cash back like Journey for Points and Clairvoyant said with the PayPal debit card, if you and your wife, and this is how I do it with my household too, so my wife has a PayPal debit card for groceries, I have a PayPal debit card for restaurants, and so we get 5% cash back up to $1,000 per month on dining and groceries, and we both spend under the $1,000 limit per month in each category. And the grocery card is really, really cool, and I'm sure for your family as well, because the 5% grocery covers Target, Costco, and it covers Walmart, which is insane. It also covers, well, I don't know if it covers the gas, I haven't tried it yet, but I know it covers Costco, Target, and Walmart for any purchase, even though it's a grocery category. So I think if that's a place you shop at a lot, that's something to consider as well. And the debit card is so easy because you just go on your app, be like, I want a debit card, click, and then you have a debit card. It's so simple. So think about that too. Definitely a great thing to think about. So, Jay Chains has an option here. Hidden trick, Shell Mobile Pay via the app gets coded as online shopping as the CCR. That was why I was thinking BVA. Oh, great. Thanks for that note. I did not know that, but that's really, really cool to hear. Okay, so that is the recommendation for that. The last poll on this live stream is this one. So I want you guys to see if you were in D Green's situation, would you pick Chase or would you pick Citi to go towards as your next one? Assuming you kept the Capital One Duo, would you go Chase or would you go Citi? So I'm going to switch that over now. Give me 1 second to make it look pretty here. And so I'll add this to the stage. Again, question is, would you choose Capital One, Chase or Citi? Go ahead and press the like button on that if you're logged in. Again, if you are not logged in, go to menti.com and use the agent code down there to get access to this live voting poll system. And so we'll start the polling now in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is what that looks like. Would you choose Chase or Citi moving on? So I'll put my vote in too. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people are favoring Chase much more than Citi, which is interesting because I feel like Citi gets a lot of like positive press, but Chase, for whatever reason, just has a very strong following. I don't know if any of you guys have voted for Chase. Why would you say you would want to go with Chase? Like, what's the reasoning about that? I'd like to know that for sure. But yeah, if you want, again, a lot of welcome offers, a lot of good welcome offers, a lot of points really quickly, Chase would be the way to go for that. And so it looks like it's pretty unanimous that Chase is the way that people would like to go, at least if they were you, D Green. So definitely think about what you want to do. If you want to continue with Chase, that may be helpful in the case that also if you are early on in your credit card journey, you can get the Chase cards first, get over 524, and then move on to Citi second. That's also another option to choose from. So there's a lot of different ways to go with this, which is really, really great. Let's see. J Chain says Chase customer service has been really good so far. Heard bad things about Citi. Okay, that's customer service. Robert J says Citi customer service sucks. So there's that. So I guess that's kind of one of the reasons customer service does make a difference. And so we'll stop the voting there. But it looks like, again, Chase is pretty much the way to go. Sorry about that. Let's see. Journey for Points says, I would cheat Chase as complimentary due to welcome offers in Hyatt. Citi has a bit more reach, but it doesn't have AA yet. Yeah, I know. That AA thing would be pretty incredible if they eventually were able to do that. So we'll go ahead and take this out. I'll actually gonna keep my face on there and put this away. I'm gonna answer some comments in the meantime here, if I can figure out where to go. Z Christ says there's room for both. There's always room for both, obviously, but trying to figure out where to go and what to do first is always a big question. And so that was kind of part of it too. Shad Kerr's in the house. Good to see you, Mr. Shad Kerr. I like Chase for Hyatt. 1.5x with CSR and Travel Portal and be able to cash points out. Yeah, the Chase is definitely very flexible in that regard. I believe Citi does the same thing with the cash out and transfer point situation, but I know what you mean. That the Hyatt transfer is big for a lot of people because you get really good value for that. Robert J says Citi would be best for high spend cash back. Leon Dre says Chase has a local branch for me, so that's another reason why they voted Chase. D Green, oh, here we go. I live in Charlotte, and A is my primary airline. Leading into Citi, like the last setup you went over, may make the most sense. I'd be interested to see what happens with that partnership. Yeah, again, if you want to do like Chase first and then do Citi, that's fine because again, Chase has 524 and Citi does not. And so if you wanted to kind of like hold the line for a bit and figure out what they're going to do with AA first and then go that way, that's fine. I would also recommend for you to, once you're over 524 or somewhere close to that, if you want to pick up that Barclay Aviator Red card, just get that as quickly as you can so you have that card before it goes away. That would be something to help you, especially if you are a AA flyer already. Clairvoyant says both Chase and Citi have great merchant offers, though, which is great. The Cookie Annihilator says, yeah, Citi is a solid ecosystem, which is true. Their cards, again, are really great for those core setup multipliers. If you really just want a solid setup, Citi is great for that. Chase always has this grocery gas problem, and so that makes it a really poor choice when it comes to like a main setup, unless you do it with something else. Okay. Justin Ryan Smith is moving to Germany. Best to focus on United Airline Club Card due to $800 to $1,000 per year on travel bank reimbursements from other cards, or add to Hilton Marriott stock with IHG Premier Card. I would say it depends on the amount of travel. I'm not exactly like that versed in Germany because I've never been there, nor have I ever lived abroad for a extended period of time. So I would say if you plan to travel often, I would focus on whatever you think you'd spend the most money in. And if you are going to be staying in hotels, because if you're moving to Germany, are you moving there and staying in hotels? Are you going to stay in hotels across Europe? Or are you flying back and forth on United? So that would be the questions I'd ask. Okay. Jay Chain says, how are Citi hotel partners? Chase has Marriott. Yeah, Chase has Marriott and they have Hyatt. Citi has Choice, I believe. And I think that's the one that they have. And I don't think there's any other ones, but I don't deal with that super often. So I'm not sure. Maybe there's another one, but I think Choice is one of them. Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I think we're all good here with the comments. Let's see. Jose says, "Hi Stan, are the money amounts and methods staying the same for grandfathered U.S. Bank Smartly credit card customers?" Yes, they are staying the same for now. But well, hold on before I say that. Are the money amounts and methods staying the same for grandfathered U.S. Bank Smartly card? Example, $5K and C to get into 2.5 cashback tier instead of $10K to checking only. I am not sure about that particular aspect of it. They did change their Smartly Rewards tiers, and I don't know if those tiers apply to the Smartly card too. The Smartly card, the first version, it should be the same in terms of like, I think it was like 5,000 to 25,000 for the first tier. So I guess in that case it would be, but I'm not sure because I don't deal in that territory. Like I've only had the 100K version, and that one still works for me. So I'm not entirely sure with the one with the smaller asset requirement. It should though, because the first card was dependent on 5,000 to 25,000 as the first tier. So it should, but if someone knows, just drop it down in the comments below. Tari, it says Citi has great cards, but unfortunately the customer service and excessive fraud alerts make it not worth it for me. Some 100% Chase. That's fair. We have Mr. Joe Barreto, Mr. Wepa in the house. What's going on, Joe? Good to see you, my friend. Everyone's saying Wepa. Mike says Wepa. Happy Easter to you, my friend, as well. And happy Easter to you and your wife, too. It's good to see you here in the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by. Okay. Stephen Wu says, "What do you think about the AAA Daily Advantage card for groceries?" I think it's a great card for groceries. So if you want to get it, you should grab it. I think at this point, though, because of the PayPal debit card, I've moved on from the AAA Daily Advantage, just because you get a higher cap. So I think AAA Daily Advantage is $10,000 per year for 5% on groceries, whereas PayPal debit is $1,000 per month, so that's $12,000 max. Plus, you have confirmed Target, Walmart, Costco for that as well. So it's a debit card. So I think it's a better way to go with the PayPal debit card. I know it's a debit card, but so far it's been very, very good for me, and we've been getting tons of cash back, and it's been pretty awesome. Okay, Randy Torado says, "Stan, I have the Boundless 2026. I will be doing the rest of your Marriott strat. How do I go about the RC product change? Brilliant in business. Which order with details? I love you." Well, I love you too. That's very nice of you to say. We will go back into that real quick. Like that, the one part that's hard is the RC product change before Brilliant, and so we will get into a question about that like further down the line. So I think it's the next section actually. So I'll answer the question in a moment. Tim says, "I paid my taxes on Tuesday when the Smartly got 4%. Yep, my Smartly card is still getting 4% as well. I did pay my taxes with Smartly. It was also 4% as well. Clairvoyant agrees with me. PayPal debit is way better than AAA. I got AAA daily for the Walmart grocery. That's good. I'm glad that you can use both. Having two options is definitely a good way to go, because now you have a very high cap compared to someone else. So having $2,000 approximately per month for groceries is probably good, especially with grocery prices these days. Shane Choi asked about the Mesa card versus Bill. I actually have not looked into that as much as my buddy Matt Clausen has, so he'd have the information, but I haven't looked at that card as much quite yet. Okay. All right. Keep going here. Shivam Patel says, "I feel like Citi complements Chase well. Dining and travel with Chase and groceries and gas with Citi. Both have frequent transfer bonuses. Citi would be stronger with the rewards with the plus, but that card is gone." Yeah, I agree. So complementing the Chase cards with like Wells Fargo or Citi is important, again, for that grocery gas situation. Justin Reinsman says, "Best BOA card for spouse duo. I already have Premium to become customized cash rewards after 1 year and cash rewards. Platinum SAS BOA, should a wife get Premium Elite and cash rewards?" So the way I do it in my household is that I have her as authorized users. I like Bank of America from that regard, because when you add an authorized user to Bank of America cards, they get the same credit history as you. So it's not like it's a new card. So for example, with American Express, you had an authorized user. That authorized user actually will get like a new account on the day you apply to an authorized user. Whereas if I had a 10-year-old card at Bank of America, I gave it to my wife as an authorized user. She gets that 10-year history as well. So I'm not sure if, excuse me, I'm not sure if you're trying to figure out like for welcome offers, but you could always just do something like an authorized user situation. I think for a spouse that does not like credit cards, the premium rewards is the easiest because that one is lower annual fee and you get pretty much good, good rewards back no matter what you buy. So I think that would be my option. But if you wanted to sprinkle some CCRs there, that would be too. So my vote would be probably for the premium rewards. If you want to do the elite, you could do that too. But that's another, again, $550. I think it's probably cheaper just to do an annual authorized user with your existing premium rewards elite card, because then you can save on that extra $550 annual fee, unless you really wanted to get like another airline credit and another lifestyle credit. But that doesn't seem like you need to, because even the authorized user gets you a priority pass membership. So there's that. Professor X is here in the house. Greetings, Mr. Stan. I admire your hustle on the lives. Salute. Salute to you too, sir. Thank you so much. All right. Rodrigo says, do you think they'll nerf the payable debit card? The answer is maybe. I don't know. But until they do, I'm going to keep using it because it is pretty amazing. Christopher So asks, hey, Stan, I got the Bonvoy Bold last June. I want to get the Bonvoy Brilliant in 1 year. I then product changed to RC. I have seen data points that Bold to RC is not an option. Is that true? So there's a question that if you go to Bold and you go to RC, that it doesn't work. So I actually product changed my own Bold to a Ritz Carlton. The Bold that I had was a Boundless first. So I Boundless changed to Bold, had that for a few years, and the Bold became a Ritz Carlton. And so I've done it before. Whether or not the vanilla Bold card goes to Ritz Carlton, I haven't tried it myself, so I don't know. I don't know why that wouldn't be a problem, because I've done it before, a Bold to a Ritz Carlton. But I think the bigger issue is going to make sure that there's that $10,000 credit limit on that Bold card before you do the product change up. So that is what I would say with that question. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be okay. Okay. Shad Kerr says, I read that with the Smartly checking balance will only count for the tiers. On my app, it still shows $5K for the first year. I wonder if U.S. Bank will remove the grandfather status at some point. Yeah, so as you know, Shad, the U.S. Bank Smartly got nerfed on Monday. It's for new cards only. Old cards have grandfathered in. It should be the 5K tier. It sounds like it should still work for that extra, 0.5% or whatever. And so I think that would be the thing to think about. Right now, I would just say that hopefully we'll just hold our breath and they'll keep the Smartly card with the version 1.0 Smartly card as the way it is now, because it's still a really good card for that reason. If they were to nerf that version, then that card is basically dead in the water. Okay, so I'm going to move back to the presentation because we still have some more questions to go through. So the next section is actually on redemptions. And so Calder DS, who I believe was in the chat earlier as well, asked a question. He said, hi, Stan. Curious to hear how you'd plan to take on an Uncle Luke-style mega redemption, say 5 nights at a tropical destination for 4 to 6 people. What cards, loyalty programs, redemptions would you be leaning towards? So basically, the plan of attack I have would be to choose a hotel program first and then choose the airline program, because the hotel program is easier to do than the airlines. I don't know of a specific destination other than it's tropical. So that could be Hawaii. It could be the Caribbean. It could be one of those two things. Let's start with hotel first. So for the hotel, there are 5 nights, and you obviously want to take a 5th night free situation. So out of the 2 options between Marriott Bonvoy or Hilton Honors, which one would you choose? And there's a very clear answer to this, and that answer is going to be the Hilton Honors program. And the reason for that is because you have a lot of options to earn points very quickly, whereas the Bonvoy program, you don't really have as many options. You're really limited to free night certificates, and even at that point, a lot of the redemptions kind of suck anyways. So if you look at the Hilton Honors program, you can purchase points at 100% sale, obviously. You can pool points up to $2 million points per year into one account. And so if you have 3 other friends, they can also purchase 100% points sale and then pool those points to you for them you to do a redemption. If it's a 4 to 6 person redemption, that's going to be maybe 2 to 3 rooms. So you're still going to need about that many points. Of course, you want to get welcome offers from the Hilton Honors cards, noting that if you had the Hilton Aspire card, you have it for diamond status, which is good. Also, you also can use the Hilton business points for those increased earnings. I believe it's 5x points on the catch-all category up to $100,000 in a year, which I don't think many of us will get to, but that would be the way I would earn extra points on top of welcome offers to get to the point where you need to redeem for those hotels. So that's how I would approach the hotel aspect is with Hilton, for sure. Other options for Hilton is that you could use MR cards to get the welcome offers, then transfer those welcome offers to Hilton itself. So you have Hilton as an MR transfer partner at 1 to 2, which is great. But then you can also get periods where there's a 1 to 2.5 bonus where you can get even more Hilton points for those MR points. And you can see from the graphic here that I did put the business platinum and the business gold here because those are the ones that get you the highest amount of welcome offer points as with the welcome offers exactly. So if you wanted to get a lot of points fast, that's how you would do that. So that covers the hotel thing. Now for airline option, it's harder for me to figure out this because I don't know where we're going. And also it's harder because I don't know where exactly we're going to. But without knowing an exact destination and assuming it's like Hawaii or the Caribbean, I would just choose Alaska because that is the one I think you can get the most amount of points on, which doesn't seem so, but I think it is because of the fact that of the way the situation is right now. And I would use Alaska Airlines as a way for me to get to that destination. So with Alaska, there's multiple methods in. So you have 2 cards, the Bank of America Alaska and Alaska Business cards. Both of them do come with companion certificates, not only on the card, but sometimes with the welcome offers too. And so you could use those to help give you a subsidized ticket to your destination, which is not exactly redeeming, but still using the benefits as they are intended to get multiple people to a destination. You have the built card transfer option, which is the 1x on rent, and then you can do the 1-to-1 transfer to Alaska. You also have the option of using the Alaska card that we mentioned before. I think it's the personal version only, though, to put your rent on it with a transaction fee. And then you also get 3x Alaska points on that. That can be very valuable depending on if you have that card or not. So if you're focusing on Alaska, that's a very, very cool thing to do. You also have this Amex MR backdoor method through Hawaiian, as we all know of already. So any MR point earning card, you can get that welcome offer on that card and then backdoor that, or not backdoor, but I guess Hawaiian transfer and then backdoor that into Alaska Airlines. And so you have a lot of those options to do that. Plus you have the current Hawaiian and Hawaiian business cards to get too, and those can also transfer to Alaska as well. So you have a lot of ways to get a lot of points quickly into the Alaska program, just from transferring points and from also getting the cards themselves. Lastly, you can also purchase points. Now, this is not the best option because when I checked my own Alaska account, I got a 60% sale at this point. I don't think they do anything more than that. But at 60%, it's basically each point is worth 1.8 cents per point at a max of 150K points, which is not like the best purchase price. But if you need like those extra points, that option is there for you to choose that from. So that's why I would choose Alaska for that reason. Again, you can also use Alaska for other things too. So you can take Alaska points or Alaska miles, and put them into the One World program. So, any One World partner like American Airlines, you could do Cathay Pacific, you can do, Japan Airlines. You could also go to Starlux because Starlux is not part of One World, but you could also transfer them directly because they have a partnership. I don't know if you would want to do this for like a business class flight because there's a lot of people and that availability is not as much. But if you want to do economy, this could be one very easy way to get a lot of points and then redeem them all at once and get you that kind of redemption you're looking for that big mega style family redemption. And that's the strategy I would do at this situation. I know Lucas does something similar with Hilton. I think he's using a different airline, but this is kind of how I would approach this particular issue. And so that was that question. Hope that was helpful for anyone who was thinking of doing a mega style redemption. And so I did want to cover a few things here before we get started. Um, so Leon Andre says, "Hey Stan, never had a credit card with an annual fee. Through my previous job, I traveled and just found out I have 13,000 Hilton Honors points. Should I try for the Aspire Surpass for a future trip?" Yeah, I think you should do that. This is a great time to get in because the Hilton cards do have an elevated offer now. I would probably start with the Hilton Honors or Surpass card first, just because you don't travel as much as probably because you had previously traveled for work. But I think that would be a way to start up first with those cards. I think the Surpass is better because you get the Hilton Gold status. So I would get that card first, just to get that status, and then you can use that $25 food and beverage credit. You'll have more opportunities to use your welcome offer, which is elevated, and a free certificate that you get with that welcome offer. And then also you have that $50 Hilton credit you could use to stay at Hilton's quarterly if you wanted to do that too. Okay. So there's that. Michael Yip says Starlux is part of One World. It is not part of One World, but Starlux has a partnership with Alaska specifically, so you can transfer Alaska miles to Starlux as of right now. So that's really cool. Clairvoyant says, "I got both the business and personal Alaska cards recently, along with transferring business gold. Welcome offer to Amex to them, sitting at 375K. Ooh, that is awesome. Way to go, Clairvoyant. That's a great, healthy amount of Alaska miles to have. Hopefully you can go to Starlux or something great with those miles." Okay, so Flying Squirrels has a question, which I think is funny because Flying Squirrels has a picture of a turtle in his logo. So I don't know if there's some kind of inside joke or something I'm missing, but there's that. He asks, "Where are some of the top places domestically or in the Caribbean you would recommend redeeming 50K Marriott certs, if any? Topping them off up to 65K is an option if that helps." So, good question. I will first preface this by saying I have not stayed in the Caribbean in quite some time, so I have not much experience in that. I would imagine you got these 50K certificates from the 5-night boundless offer is probably where that came from. Or maybe you have some from getting a 15,000 spend on the bevy or the boundless. Either one is fine. But when I did some basic searching in the Caribbean area on a random weekday, the options that you have for Marriott typically are going to be Autograph, Courtyard, Residence Inn, and Marriott in that 50K to 65K range. And so those are pretty good. You can see that this is a picture of a Courtyard, which, does not look at a Courtyard domestically at all. Like, this is a really nice looking Courtyard, in the Caribbean, but our Courtyards here in the United States, they kind of look like Motel 6s, to be honest with you. But those are the types of options that you would choose from. So if I kind of look deeper into that, some specific properties, I don't know exactly where you'd want to go, but these are some example properties. You have the San Juan Marriott in the Solaris Casino. That's the one actually in Puerto Rico. And so, by the way, there's going to be a credit card meetup in Puerto Rico hosted by my good friend Cesar Joel. So definitely check out his channel, and definitely if you want to come join us in November, that would be awesome to see you guys there. But this is one hotel that is pretty good. $381 per night, 62K points, about 0.6 cents per point. Not the best, but still okay. There's also the Grand Cayman Marriott down here at $431 per night, 60,000 points and 0.7 cents per point also. Now, the cent per point isn't as important in this situation because you're using a certificate, so you just want to get a points total that's over 50K or around 50K. You just want to, make sure that they're like okay redemptions, are not like 0.3 cent per point or something ridiculous like that, because I have seen those as well. And so that is those two. If you were thinking about a domestic redemption, I would say the best one would be Westin. I'm a big fan of Westins because they're like they feel like very luxurious properties, but they are kind of more mid-tier type property. So you can get a lot of good redemptions with them, even though that they're a mid-tier property. So you can see in Chicago, for example, the West Chicago is $401 a night, 53,000 points. So that's a 0.75 cent per point redemption. Or the one in Washington, D.C., for example, is $352 per night at 37,000 points. So that's 0.95 cent per point. And so there's, if you depending on where you go, you can get some pretty good redemption values. Again, you would never use the 50K certificate on this bottom Westin here in DC because it's just that would be a waste of a certificate, but the option is going to be there. And also, I would say that the Westin in DC, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of small, but the reviews are 3.6 stars, and then the one in Chicago is 4.2 stars. So definitely check out the reviews of why it's 3.6 stars. Is going to be helpful as well. I didn't necessarily do that, but I would imagine that there's a reason why it's less money and less points per night. Basically, it's in a weird area or like there's something going on with the hotel. Like just check out those reviews before you book, obviously. All right. So there's that. So we're going to go to the next section. Before we do, I have some other questions. So let's do that. So Z Christ says, is that where y'all staying? So I think we're all staying at the Caribe Hilton. That's a lot of where we're staying at the Puerto Rico meetup. And so that's been a big one for all of us. But the other one, the Stellaris Casino JW, I was looking at that one to stay at too. Was it not JW, it was a Marriott. Jay Chain says, doesn't Alaska credit card have pretty high minimum spend for companion fare? Yes, it does. They have, it's not high. It's like $6,000 a year or something like that, but it's no longer like automatic. But with the companion pass from the Alaska, there's also ones that come with the welcome offer. I don't think those ones have a min spend on those. So you just have to check whatever offer is being available at the time and then make sure that that's the one that you want. Ariane Dakal says, if one already has the Amex Plat and the Hilton Aspire, would you still, sorry, I'm going to start over again. If one already has the Amex Plat and the Hilton Aspire, would you still recommend getting an airline card? How many flights per year would justify the card? You know, it depends on the situation. I would say if you check a bag and you fly round trip, you just need to fly once because that way you'd save the annual fee pretty much that one time. I guess if you want to be like really good, like twice, and it's one of those legacy carriers. And unfortunately, Southwest is now a legacy carrier technically because they have their new baggage fee situation. But I would just say if you fly, I would say on average 2 to 4 times a year, that's a good time to think about it. And if you fly once with checked bags or even twice, then I would say getting a mid-tier airline card would be worth it in that situation. Journey for Point says, use a 50K cert on St. Regis, Toronto. Had to top up. It's not easy. Yeah, I mean, the 50K is one of those weird situations where it's like, it's good. It's like better than like the typical Fairfields and like Courtyards, but it's not as good as like a JW or something else of a higher tier. It's like that middle tier that is kind of hard to redeem. St. Regis is pretty good. I mean, that's a really nice hotel for a 50K cert, but you got to find the right redemption for that particular redemption. So I'm glad you found that. That's pretty awesome. Son Win says, Marriott Milan, 115K for 5 nights in September, Fashion Week. You might see some celebrities. Oh, very cool. I'd love to go to Italy one day, but I have not quite yet had the opportunity to do so. Z Christ says, I might stay at the casino next week, but only have 100K Marriott points. 60K points seems kind of steep. Yeah, it depends on the time of year we're going. You're going. I did do the search during a weekday in the summertime, so I'm sure those points are going to be elevated more than you would see in like the wintertime. Wilson says, do you think the current increased Marriott Brilliant offer is better or is the Boundless better? It seems like the 3 nights plus 50K points is kind of a new offer. Yeah, I think the Brilliant offer is better. I like the points offer for Marriott because you can use those points whenever, whereas with Marriott, the Boundless 5-night offer or something, those expire. So you're pressured to use them within a year. So I would actually prefer the Brilliant more for sure. Justin says, military couple, spouses exempt from annual fees as well. Once we have both, oh, I see. This is for your previous question. So once we have both the Premium Elite, we'll look to hunt down X3 Expire cards for her. Video idea. Military member and spouse card stacks. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that you have that kind of strategy going on, and that's pretty cool that you can waive those annual fees. Okay, we're going to keep going on to our next section, which is Marriott, exactly what we were talking about. So with Marriott, this question comes from Gen512X. He asks, how long before applying for the Bonvoy Brilliant Amex card should a current Ritz Carlton card holder downgrade it to a Boundless to be eligible for the welcome offer on the Brilliant? So that comes to that other question we had earlier, where you have a Boundless and you want to, you have a Boundless or a Ritz, and you had a Boundless, PC to a Ritz the first year, and now you're up for that Brilliant card. So how do we manage that step-by-step process to get the welcome offer on the Brilliant while still keeping the Ritz? So the way you would do that is looking at kind of what the terms say on the welcome offer on the Brilliant. And so this is the Brilliant card. This is the current welcome offer. You can see that it's not available to applicants who, one, have or have had the Ritz Carlton credit card in the last 30 days. So you cannot currently have it, and you cannot have had it for 30 days. So with that in mind, if you're at the 24-month mark after your Bonvoy Boundless welcome offer that has been switched to a Ritz Carlton card, what you want to do is 30 days, or I guess 31 days prior to applying for the Bonvoy Brilliant card, you want to product change your Ritz Carlton card down to the Boundless card or the Bold card, one of those two, and then hold it for 30 days. And then after 31 days, you'll be clear from this particular part of the terms and conditions about the Bonvoy Brilliant welcome offer. Then you would apply for the welcome offer on the Bonvoy Brilliant. You'd get that offer, and then you can product change that Bonvoy Bold or Boundless card back up to the Ritz Carlton. Then you have both cards at the same time. Now, one question that comes in is also, do you product change that card right away after the Brilliant card application is approved, or do you wait to get the welcome offer on the card first? So my inclination is to wait to get the welcome offer first to make sure you get it before you kind of product change it back to the Ritz Carlton card. I don't see a reason why it would be a problem if you product changed right after you got approved, but I just want to make things simple and just ensure you get the welcome offer. So I would just wait until you got the Brilliant card, you met the welcome offer, you got the points in your account. Okay, now you can product change back to the Boundless card to the Ritz Carlton. And there's no 12-month timer on that one either. You can just product change one pretty freely, provided that you have, again, the $10,000 credit limit on that card. So that is the kind of the step-by-step part of that question. Now, going further than that, I think the previous question talked about what do you do with the business card. You can apply for that card whatever you want. There's no terms that prevent you from getting the welcome offer on the Brilliant or the business on when you apply for them. So just apply for it whenever you feel that it's right. Just understanding that there's the Amex 1 in 5 rule and the Amex 2 in 90 rule to worry about. Okay, so I know Michael Y was here in the chat earlier. That's his next question is also about Marriott. He says, "Hey there, Stan. Thanks again for hosting the Q&A live stream. I've heard rumors that you can hold an unlimited number of Ritz Carlton cards and an unlimited number of the $95 Amex Bonvoy cards, which is the one you can apply for. Is this true? And if so, why isn't it a more widespread strategy to stack Amex Bonvoys and Ritz Carlton cards? Excuse me. I'm looking at this from a FNCs and not an elite night credit standpoint. Thanks for the help and keep it up with the content." Michael is still in the house. Oh, that formatting is terrible. Yeah, I know. I put a lot. You had a lot on your comments, so I just wanted to make sure that I got the main idea on here. But you did kind of cover a little bit more detail in your previous comment. So basically, the reason why it's not as popular, and this is my thought, is that when you look at kind of the limitations on the Chase side and the Amex side individually, it is better for you to just focus on other cards. You know, unless you really want to like bang out a bunch of FNCs that are 35K or 85K, you're gonna have to kind of go all in on that strategy. And there's no other strategies you can use with Chase or American Express because of the way those issuers are structured. And so, if we look at that, let's start with the Chase card first. So with the Chase cards, you're looking to product change as many Chase cards into a Ritz Carlton card to get multiple 85K FNCs. So there's limitations based on the terms and conditions of the card, specifically the Bonvoy Bold and Boundless, where you may not be eligible for the specific card. So for that, you can have the Bold or the Boundless, but not both. So you can't have two of the same card. So once you have one, you got to wait for a while. You also have to wait 12 months to product change to the Ritz Carlton, of course. But you also have to wait 24 months to apply again if you receive the welcome offer. Excuse me. So if you got the welcome offer on the Bold or Boundless, you can't get another welcome offer until 24 months later. So if your goal is to stack as many Ritz Carlton cards as fast as possible, that's going to be an issue. So I'm going to take a swig of water real faster. Sorry, talking for that long can really get to your voice sometimes. So basically, you don't want to focus on welcome offers if you're doing this strategy. You want to just get as many of those cards as possible and then PC them as fast as possible to the Ritz Carlton card. Of course, you also have to worry about the 10K credit limit per card. And as we all know, for Chase, they have a maximum credit limit per person. And so if you reach that limit, you may run into a barrier where you can't get multiple Bonvoy cards because you can't get that get that limit high enough to PC to the Ritz Carlton card. Also, you have to worry about Chase 524. As you apply for more and more of these cards, you're going to keep linking your Chase 524 status to a point where you can't really get it anymore. So that's one of the problems. And so that would be kind of where I would say the problem with Chase is. So that's one. Oh, we have a super chat from my boy, DP David Palmer. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a very active member. I see a lot of your comments on my live streams. I see them on my comments on my videos as well as on my Pond Pointers Walk with Stan episodes. So thank you so much for your support, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you, David. But again, back to the Chase thing here in the Marriott situation. That's probably why this is probably not used as much, because you can think about, like, if you have other Chase cards, they have credit limits too. I have other personal cards with Chase 524. That's a problem too. So it's good to get multiple Ritz Carlton cards if you can, but it may take you a little bit longer than if you just were to gung ho for them like all right at once. We can take the same opportunity and look at the Amex side. So with Amex, you have two options to get to the Marriott Bonvoy card, which is the one you're talking about. And that's the Bonvoy Bevy and the Bonvoy Brilliant. Now, both of them don't really have any issues getting the cards, at the same time. Obviously, the welcome offer on the Brilliant is not going to be available to you if you got the Bevy cards. Welcome offer is not available if you got the Brilliant card first. So you have to kind of do it in order that you kind of get both of them. So you do Bevy first, then Brilliant. But then after that, you have to wait 12 months to product change the cards to the Bonvoy. If you do that, that's 2 cards, right? Amex does have a 5-card limit for most people. Some people don't have that. Some people do. I know that myself, I have that. So if I were to do this more often, that would take up, just say, 4 cards. I have 4 Amex Bonvoy cards. I just don't have enough slots for other Amex cards, which can also be very helpful too. Like, I don't want to have a bunch of Marriott cards when there's Hilton cards available, or the Blue Business Plus, or some other great Amex card. I'd rather use another Amex card than have 4 Amex Bonvoy cards, even though they do give you a 35K FNC. So that's probably why that one also is harder to do too. And so, again, there's no limits on having 2 or more of the same card that I'm aware of. So you could technically be like, get 2 Brilliants and 2 Bevies like right away, assuming you don't care about the welcome offer. And so if you look at kind of the path, I would just say, just choose one path if you wanted to do this. If you wanted multiple 85K FNCs, do the Chase path with the Ritz Carlton. With the Bonvoy card, we would do the 35K FNCs with the Amex cards. Again, for Chase, you would just have to do it in 12-month intervals. So Bold Bountiful, wait 12 months, product change, then Bold Bountiful, wait 12 months, product change. It's already 4 Ritz Carlton cards. You can't get any welcome offers that way because, again, if you get a welcome offer on a Chase card, as we mentioned before, in this red line over here, if you get a welcome offer, you have to wait 24 months, not 12 months, or whatever the time frame is. So that welcome offer is key in the terms and conditions that tell you that's what is the key of when you can or cannot get this card. And then 524 is the limit. For the Amex card, similar, you can get Bevy and Brilliant times 3, just as fast as you want or slow as you want. Wait 12 months, product change all 3 of them. Just understand that you may have a credit card limit on your Amex accounts, and then you can't get any other Amex cards, which may not be kind of what you're looking for. Welcome offers only on the first set. Your Chase 524 is going to be destroyed because you got a bunch of personal cards all at once. And then you also have that 1 in 5, 2 in 90 rule as your limit too. Emilio asked a good question too. How much does each credit card being on your credit score, how much does it bring it down? I would say that the credit card score goes down faster if you're newer, and if you're older, it goes down less. If you were to do 6 cards in a row, I would imagine if you're like a long-time credit card user, maybe 15, 20 points at most. If you're new, it may drop by 50, 60 points. It depends on kind of the average age of accounts and how many hard pulls you have. But by doing one of these strategies, you're going to start getting a lot of new accounts. With Chase, you get new accounts and you get hard pulls too. So there's that situation. But again, to answer your question, Michael, that's why we don't actually recommend this, or I don't recommend this. It's a possibility. I think the one that is good is getting multiple Ritz Carlton cards over a period of like 4 to 6 years. I think that's a good strategy to do. I know that we're all like, oh, is this card going to go away soon? Like, I don't know. So you just get one and like be happy with it. But if you can get multiple RC cards, that is a great way to get multiple 85K FNCs. Okay, hope that answers your question. That's going to be it for Marriott, but of course we're going to talk about Bank of America now, so you have a couple questions there. So the first question comes from Josh Ng. Curious to learn about what made you decide to enter the B of A Preferred Rewards program and how you got up to Platinum Honors. Also, Joshua, I believe, may also be here in the chat. I want to be able to like it and got a checking account to start my roadmap towards it, which is good, or road towards it. But the way Bank of America and Merrill Lynch does their apps and website makes me low-key die on the inside. So yeah, it's definitely something to think about. It's the apps do suck. I will definitely say that. For me, it really wasn't more of a choice, more than I just happened to be with them for a long time. And so Bank of America was the first bank I ever banked with as an adult. And I've been banking with them since college. And so I had been saving with them since college too. Now, of course, back then, their savings account also sucked too. So I got used to kind of having that online savings account and then having a Bank of America checking account. So back at the time, I actually used this bank. I don't know if any of you guys remember this bank called ING Direct. They had really great APYs at the time, very, very high. And so I used them as my savings account, and before they were bought over by Capital One, and that became like the 360 savings account. But I use ING Direct and then Bank of America as my two banks. And so as I save more money, I was able to put that into use. And then when I eventually got into investing, they were also my first brokerage account. And I was always trained and not trained. I would say I always learned to be a passive investor. I was never an active investor. Oh, look at this. My boy Chad Money Minutes, ING used to be top shelf. He remembers it. That's great. Yes, that's the orange circle for ING Direct. Exactly. Yeah. I love that bank. It was really, really good. And actually the customer service is really on par as well. But I think they just, it was a good bank for that time. And then obviously they just had to go away. And Chad Money Minutes always dropping some good knowledge. Awesome. Yeah. So ING Direct was the savings account. But back to what I was saying. After I saved enough money, then I started to invest. And so the Merrill Lynch, or I guess Merrill Edge brokerage was my first investing account. And so as I got more and more savings and investments, I naturally went from gold, platinum to platinum honors. And that's just how it happened. So as you all know, the website and the app is pretty bad. But as I mentioned before, I'm a passive investor. I just buy some ETF and just hold it there. Now, I will eventually want to rebalance that so that it's not so much in equities and there's going to be more in bonds as I grow older. But at this point right now, it's just basically buying these broad market ETF funds. And I like Bank of America because it does encourage you to save because it gives you a nice credit card boost to your credit cards so you can get a better return on them. And so I think it's a good goal to have to keep saving so you can put the money into not only to invest for yourself, but also to get those credit card bonuses too. For me, as you all know, I did go to medical school. I'm currently a doctor. So this transitional period is where it became important to go from gold, platinum honors, because when you're a resident, which is basically a doctor in training, your salary will jump significantly from going from a trainee into an actual, attending, which is basically a full-time doctor. And so at that period of time, kind of like what you would say for a lot of people who do get raises occasionally, you want to just not look at the raise as something that you need to spend and just use that as a method to save or pay down your debt or what have you. So for me, I live like a resident because I really wanted to get 100K, my first 100K after a residency. So I just saved and saved and saved and saved. And as soon as I hit 100K, I kind of took my foot off the gas pedal a little bit. But I really wanted the platinum honors. And so it took me around, I think, 1 to 2 years to kind of get there. But then after that, it was good, and it's been a really nice ride with Bank of America, and they have, as you guys know, really good credit cards if you are in the platinum honors tier. So I really would like to say that it's just chance. It's not like I chose Bank of America; I just happened to be with them. And so again, it really encourages you to save. So 20K at gold, to 50K to platinum, to 100K to platinum honors. And then that's kind of where we're at. I don't think I'll ever be diamond honors because I just would never keep that much assets in Bank of America because you could put that somewhere else with a better investment platform. This is more just to get to the Platinum Honors tier. But if Diamond Honors eventually offered like a 125% credit card boost, then I'd be all over that like white rice. But I have to probably figure out where to get that money from first because I do not have that kind of cash right now. So there's that. Okay. Let's see. Rodrigo Mendes stands a doctor. Yes, I am a doctor. I don't publicize that as much on my channel, but I am a doctor. Oh, Stephen Wu also remembers ING as well. Used to be an online banking pioneer back in the day and brings back good memories. Yeah, I know. They were like the online bank to be with, right? That's what I remember them as. And they had like these great commercials and had the lion and the little orange circle. You can probably Google this on the internet now. But yeah, I love that bank. It's just too bad that Capital One bought them. Not that I don't like Capital One. It's just, I had a very soft spot in my heart for ING Bank. Okay, the next one comes from my buddy Matt Frost, who is also a channel member. Excuse me. Hey Stan, with the sad but unexpected kneecapping of the Smartly card, B of A is once again front and center. I am curious if there is a Bank of America order of operations you would recommend in gathering their cards. If the end goal is a few CCRs and the Premium Rewards Elite, is there an order you recommend getting them in? Does it make sense to get the regular Premium Rewards card for the welcome offer, then the Elite 6 months, 12 months later, assuming at that point you could downgrade the Premium Rewards to a CCR? Congrats on having 2 grandfathered, overpowered US Bank cards. Not jealous at all. Yes. For those of you, again, who have the US Bar and US Bank Smartly 1.0, you are winning and we're winning for a long time as long as those cards stay the way they are. But for the rest of everybody, the Bank of America cards are the way to go. So the question is there an order of operations to choose Bank of America cards? And the answer is no, but I have a recommendation, and this is what I would say. I would say if you were to get the Premium Rewards Elite, Premium Rewards, or Customized Cash Rewards card, I would get the Premium Rewards Elite card first. And here's the reason why I would say that. It's because you can start your 12-month product change timer earlier and enjoy the benefits earlier too. So as we all know, we have the Premium Rewards Elite. They have the free authorized users with the 4 additional Priority Pass memberships that also give you, by the way, unlimited Priority Pass restaurant access to. That's still the case today as far as I know. You also have the $300 airline credit as well as the $150 lifestyle credit, which are both calendar year credits. So you can actually double up with them on the first year, which is pretty cool. And that's why I'd apply with them first. Now, of course, you have to remember there's the Bank of America 234 rule, which is you can only have 2 cards every 30 days, 3 cards every 12 months, and 4 cards every 24 months with Bank of America. And then there's a 712 rule, which is basically you can only have 7 cards across any issuer over the past 12 months. Otherwise, you get automatically denied. So those are the rules you have to think about. But other than that, I would just apply for a Pure Elite card, then the PR card, and then I would wait. I would do that. You can do it within 30 days if you want to because of the 230 rule. But I would wait within 90 days just to be safe. And then I'd apply for the CCR card within the first 12 months. If you were to do that, so PR Elite, and then 30 days later, like PR card, then somewhere within the first 12 months CCR, you'll be able to product change that PR Elite card first at the beginning. So you can see on the left side here, that's the second CCR, which used to be your CCR, or your PR Elite card, excuse me. And you have now these 3 cards in a row. Now, some of you may not want to get the PR Elite card because you don't care about the other benefits it has. You just want like the cheapest annual fee, which is the Premium Rewards card because it has that $100 airline incidental credit, which is great. So that actually is a really nice card at that $95 annual fee price point. So if that's what you want to do first, then I would just start with the card that you don't want to keep long term. So if your goal is to keep a premium reward card, you would do what I just said before. Do the Premium Elite card first, then that'll product change first. If you want to keep the Premium Rewards Elite card, then I would apply for the Premium Rewards card first because that'll start the timer on that 12-month PC cycle. And eventually you'll just get 2 CCRs with that 1 Premium Rewards or Elite card at the very end. I don't know if that made sense or not. I think I explained it the right way, but I kind of went a little fast. So if that doesn't make sense, just let me know. Basically, you want to apply, again, what it says here on this slide here. Start with a card you don't want to keep long-term, either the Premium Rewards Elite or the Premium Rewards card. Okay. All right. So that covers that. We have about 7 minutes left, but I'm going to go through this super, super fast. Potpourri questions. We don't have that many questions left, but I will want to cover them because you did leave them on the post, and I would like to answer them and make sure that your answers are heard. So, Rodrigo M., who has been here in this chat, what are your thoughts on the couponization of the United cards and the rumors that the CSR price hike will likely come with some enhanced rideshare credits to offset the increase? Well, we all know how I feel about couponization of credit cards and increased annual fees. Not a fan, absolutely. But let's take a look at what he's talking about. So I'm not going to go over the nitty-gritties of these cards, but basically, if you look at these new refreshed Chase United cards, there's increased annual fees, and then there's also these statement credits that are not only just annual monthlies, they also have these like subcategories in them. So, for example, on all three cards, I believe it's the Avis budget credit where you get an annual credit for them, but you got to like rent the card twice. So it's really, even though it's an annual credit, you've got to pay it twice to get the full credit. So not like the end of the world. Okay. What is kind of annoying is this new monthly credit, which I believe is the Instacart credit on the Quest and the Club card, where we have a monthly credit, but you got to purchase Instacart twice. And those purchases have to be $10 or more to get the credit. And that is essentially a semi-monthly credit. It's not exactly a semi-monthly credit, but it really is because you got to do this twice. So that's not great in my opinion. I don't really like that. Now this is only the statement credits. I'm sure the cards themselves, depending on what you use for that, that's really important. Because if you use it for United purposes, that's a different story. But just for the credit purposes, it's kind of ridiculous. Clairvoyant gave me a super sticker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. For that 99-cent super sticker. But yeah, these United cards are just kind of, I did not expect that. So there's that. Personally, my reaction is a double face palm. So this is Kirk and someone else. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to get some people mad here. I'm not a Star Trek fan. I'm actually more of a Star Wars fan, so take that for what you will. But this is the double facepalm meme. Basically, Chase putting a semi-monthly credit on their cards was not on my 2025 bingo card. I thought it would be Amex. I thought it would be on some other high, some other high annual fee card. But to have it happen on a Chase card, I did not expect that at all. But we have gotten to the level now where we're putting in semi-monthly credits, which is insane, right? So they're really just trying to give you the value, but the value is really annoying. So like, why do you even bother? And that's kind of the attitude I have now for that. So same thing with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So that was with Chase. So Chase may update their reserve, which it does need an update. That's not like I think they do need an update for this card. But because of what we saw with the Chase United cards, I'm pretty sure you're going to see something very similar on that on the Sapphire Reserve card. And the reason why they did it is probably because they saw something with American Express, Chase, that is working for American Express. So they're now going to start copying what's working well for them. Likely what they're seeing is that people aren't using the same credits as much anymore, which is probably why they're there, but they just don't get used. So they can claim the value, but the value is not really being used. So I would just get used to these cards having higher annual fees and more statement credits. Now, for me, I'm more cash back, and for that reason, I'm kind of out of this. Like I'll cover it. I mean, there are some cards I use still with statement credits that I kind of tolerate, but I'm trying to move away from that situation because it's a lot of work. And I think that when you get a credit card of a premium status, you want to make sure you use it to the most of your ability, which includes the statement credits. So the reason why they put them on there, these banks, is because they want to show you that they're giving you value when if you're not using them, you're not really getting that value back. Son Win dropped a super chat. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Happy Easter. Thank you, Son. I appreciate that. Happy Easter to you as well. That is awesome. Thank you so much for that super chat. What's the point says, speaking of United, you're the only one in this space I've heard talk positively of the silver status benefit. Is that helpful for you because you don't have a UA card, or is the Econ Plus seat important? So yeah, so he's referring to when I was Marriott Bonvoy Titanium, I had Premier Silver Elite through that Titanium Elite status. And I thought it was great because, like you said, what's the point is I didn't get, I don't have a United card with a free check bag. Or I, don't have any of those benefits for priority boarding, which are two things that are very important to me. The Economy Plus is a plus or minus. Like I don't need it, Economy actually is okay for me. There's pretty good space between my knees and the front of the seat in United cabins. But Economy Plus is like, for me, pretty ridiculous. There's like a foot or more of space between my knees and the next seat. So it is super comfortable. So it's definitely a plus. I don't mind having that space. But really, it's because, like you said, I don't have a free check bag, nor do I have a priority boarding. And I do value those a lot with airlines. And so for me, I fly mostly Southwest, not by choice, but by nature of the airlines routes they have. So I always have that with Southwest, and I will continue to have that with Southwest because I'm A-list preferred as we move forward into this new Southwest era. But those are benefits I really would have. But if I had used another airline like American, United, or Delta, I would 100% have like a Gold, Delta Gold. I'd have a an Explorer or an AA equivalent card just for those particular benefits. All right, so there's that. Great. So next question comes from Luca Legend. He says, "Hi Stan, a credit union in my city has either one of or the only credit card that gives you elevated cash back at 3% in points on all three major categories, gas, grocery, dining, which is huge. It also gives you 5x points on streaming services, and it's a no annual fee, no FTF card on top of that. However, there's a caveat. The 3x and 5x points back is capped at 6K% a year. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the card." So what he's explaining is this card. It's got pretty good benefits, no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. I would just say for this card, it depends on the $6,000 per year cap. If it's on each category or if it's a combined total. If it's a combined total, it's a stupid card. Don't get it. If it's on each category, then I would say it's reasonable, but I don't really think it's reasonable to have a cap on a 3x category. I think that's a little bit like not the way to go anymore. So my thoughts on this card is, if it's nice, if you're going to use a 2% cashback card anyways, you just get that card because that's a great card. But otherwise, I'd pass. I'm not a fan again of capped 3% categories. Okay. Revolving Battle Fox says, "Hi Stan, is there anything you wish you would have got known before getting into the credit card game?" So yes, I personally started out with airline hotel cards when I first started. If you guys watched that Career Conversation episode with Spencer, I did go into that a little bit. But if I knew what I knew now, I would have not done that. I would have definitely started with the Chase Sapphire Preferred or some other flexible point earning card, because I did throw away a lot of value by using those cards for spending, which I should have never done. I really should have used a flexible point earning card or even a cashback card. That would have been better too. So I shouldn't have done that. Stephen Wu says, "Happy Easter." Happy Easter to you too. New again says, "Bruh, Chase already had semi-monthly credits. Be surprised. Don't blame Amex. These coupons are a Chase thing, and Amex business model required Centos rewards for use, unlike bulk issuer Chase." Yeah, I know they had like these semi-monthly credits before. I mean, it's not like I'm surprised. It's just I thought that we'd have more time before we had semi-monthly credits, like kind of be more standard. I think it's more of getting to be more of a standard thing now, and so that's my beef with it. But yeah, it's something that I just don't prefer to have. So last question comes from Catch631. It's more of a YouTube question. Recently saw in Spencer's video that you mentioned use a teleprompter for your videos. What one do you use, or would you recommend for someone starting out to just use their phone to record video? So I would say that if you want to start recording videos, use anything that makes it easy for you to record videos. If that's your iPhone, use your iPhone. I do use teleprompters, not for this video, obviously, because of live stream, but for my long form, I typically do, not because I want to, but basically because it's the fastest way to record the video. I do work full time, and so I try to do as much as I can for YouTube, but I need to save time so I can do other things. And that's why teleprompter is still there, because it makes it very fast for me to record my videos. So if you look at that, this is actually what I use, the Glide Gear TMP 100. It is, you can see actually on the top there, I purchased it on the first day of my YouTube channel, January 1st, 2022. I love this thing. I still have it. Get yourself an iPad. The iPad reflects on the screen. Inside the screen, there's a camera, like a DSLR camera, and you can actually see through it. And actually, you can look at the words as they come up and just talk to the camera. It's been very, very good. I can't highly recommend this enough. I'm sure there are other options for phones and stuff, but this is the one I've used. In terms of cameras, I use the one on the left, that's the Sony ZV-E10. I've had that camera for 2.5 years and love it. It's a great camera to use with the teleprompter and fits very nicely in the apparatus. Again, iPhones are great cameras to use as well, and so I would use that if you want to get started recording fast and that's all you have. They really do a good job with the camera with the iPhone, so just do that. But if it was me starting over. I actually really like this new camera that I just got called the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It's actually a really fun camera to use because it's like a selfie camera. You just hold it up to yourself and it records really good 4K video. And it comes with the creator combo with a microphone plus a little like thing on the top to help with audio. So it's pretty awesome. I do use that camera now to do my Walks with Sam episodes for the membership. And so I'm getting more use out of that camera and I'm getting more familiar with it. And so hopefully do some more like vloggy type things in the future. Not sure if I want to do that quite yet, but it's definitely a camera I'd recommend in place of an iPhone camera if that's something that you're looking to do and if you want to invest in the camera for a little bit. Two Garage is still here. Whoa, still going. I am still going. I did want to end it here though because I think we're done. Yes, we're done. Where am I? Something's happening. Here we go. Okay. I still want to end it here because I know John R. has his live stream going on soon or even now. I want to give him the opportunity to have you all go check out his live stream. But I know that there's a lot of information all at once. I kind of got a little bit sidetracked towards the middle of it, but I got through all the questions. Hope you enjoy this live stream. For those of you who are still here, there's a special message. Is that going to be is because of the way my May schedule is, I actually can't do a live stream in May. So what I'm going to do is actually a live stream next Saturday. I typically don't do back-to-back live streams just because, I want to give some time for people to, get their questions in and that sort of thing. But just the way my schedule is, I'll be doing a live stream next Saturday as well, which I'll announce next Tuesday. So if you have any questions for me that wasn't covered in this live stream, go ahead and save those and ask them on the community post on that live stream community post. And I will see you guys on that Saturday. With that being said, thank you all so much for being here on this live stream. Hope it was helpful. I wish you all a very happy Easter weekend and enjoy the day if you can. And with that being said, that is it for me. Take care, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.